Talking with Beecher. Let's go.
All right, Dorian Price. Let's go.
Oh, we on there?
We're on.
Oh, shit.
So I've been knowing you for a long time, but a lot of people don't know you, what they should. Who were those two guys that were talking about you in the video that I saw?
Oh, that was
Who are those guys?
Dean Thomas, old UFC guy, legend, OG, and Anthony Smith.
Yeah. You train with those guys?
I went out when I was in Colorado. I clinched with Anthony, and I was out at his camp with a guy called Mark Matoya. Great guy in Colorado. And Dean and I go way back. He's like kind of like a mentor, OG.
Yeah.
To me, yeah. So
where'd you meet him at?
I met Dean a long time ago. I can't even remember. It's been a while. We threw there was a fight show called Shine. That I was involved with, and we had Dean fighting on that.
It was MMA?
It was MMA.
Where was it at? Colorado?
It was all over.
Okay.
And met Dean there. Even before that, knew Dean just from the circle. Yeah. Small world.
Yeah, sure.
The MMA scene back in those days. Small. Everyone knew everybody, especially And so from that point, like Dean just started becoming like mentor. I always looked up to him from being in the UFC and stuff like that. And we just stayed cool, man.
What about Anthony Smith? You train with him?
Yeah, when I was in Colorado, with Matt actually. When Matt was in Colorado, I went out. I was out there with him, and we were. Coach Mark asked me to clinch around with some guys, show some clinch stuff, so I did. So I started clinching with Anthony and stuff like that. And I'm not the biggest guy, but I know how to foot sweep people.
Yeah.
And I always had respect for Anthony. Anthony, he really is the lion heart. I mean, that dude's got fucking the heart of a lion. Yeah. And he's a great guy too, man. More importantly, it's just being around good people, man. He's a solid human being.
Man, it's hard to find in MMA. I mean, yeah.
It is hard. Both him and Dean they're hard. It's hard to find guys like that. Yeah. So Dean's always throwing me what I call alley-oops, man, to try and get my name out there. Like easy layups. So he's always throwing, putting me out there to say, look, check out Dorian. Always help me out every time I'm at a UFC event. Dean's always doing something to help me out.
That's cool, dude. So what have you done in all the sport for people who don't know you? Where did you start at? What was your first, you did start with Muay Thai?
No, actually I started with Kali Eskrima.
Oh, really?
In
you did Kali?
1997 early, then at the gym with Sean Yarbrough. I was there before. Remember Sean?
Yeah, dude, Sean, he came here. I did a seminar with him here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, that dude is so athletic. So
I tell everybody, Sean is the most underrated man.
I know.
When they talk about, greats in the American Muay Thai scene, they always leave Sean out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys have no fucking idea how damn good Sean is, man. I used to spar that guy all the time we were coming up. He had hands like bear paws.
Dude, and you know where he got it? His dad. So I met his dad. I cornered him on one of his fights or something. I don't know what happened. But I met his dad and I go, hey man, nice to meet you. And he shook my hand and his fingers almost touched him. I was like, oh, that's where he gets
it from. Yep.
So Sean Yarbrough's fist is like, it's
like a bear paw. He's like, I used to ride home, and anybody that's in Virginia Beach area doesn't know I used to go across the bridge to Hampton. I used to sit there with the most pounding headache. I would have to pull up on the side of the road sometimes after sparring. We didn't know anything. We would just crack each other. And
I used to do that with Kevin. We used to go hard. And then we figured out, that's pretty dumb.
It's not the way to go.
No. Dude, so here's a story about Sean, I'll tell you. So you started in Virginia Beach with Sean.
With Sean, I started, I think, maybe 5 years before Sean, and then Sean came around. I had already had fights. I had already been to Thailand the first time.
But wait, you were training Eskrima, though, Kali, right?
At the same school. So it was a guy named Frank Cucci, Navy SEAL guy. He had an academy.
Frank Cucci, I know that name. It's a JKD guy, right?
JKD did Muay Thai. This is back in the days when you could be a blue belt. We were under Professor Pedro Sauer.
Okay.
So he was a blue belt at the time. And just when you could have a school in the 90s, being a blue belt was good enough to have a school. Yeah. And so he had that, Muay Thai, everything. I mean, and then he started having a fight team because he would put on shows in Virginia. And
you want to hear something crazy? That's how I started too.
At Kali Eskrima?
JKD. Mm-hmm. Rafael Lovato, his father was a JKD guy. And we did Muay Thai because it's part of JKD.
Yep.
And he trained with Richard Bastillo.
Yep.
And that's where I started too. Same. And then they're the first father and son black belt jiu-jitsu in America. Of course. We started doing jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
I think everyone has to, in our era, everyone started like that because it was JKD, and all those JKD guys ended up gravitating to jiu-jitsu when they started to see like the effectiveness of it. Kali Eskrima was part of that because remember, it was like always going around. Guru Dan and Asanto, Ajun Chai, they would go around and do stuff like seminars like this. So it was all meshed into one. So I think all of us Muay Thai guys from the 90s started in JKD, Kali Eskrima type.
I agree with that because you know why Bruce Lee was so, I mean, he was good, but the thing is his outlook wasn't like Taekwondo. Like, this is Taekwondo. No, we don't do it. We don't do that. Like he was, if it works and it's effective,
use it.
That's JKD, bro.
Yep.
And that's my outlook now.
Yeah.
Like somebody shows me some crazy Taekwondo kick, but it works. I'm like, dude, that's Muay Thai. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Use it. Yeah.
If it works, I use it.
Well, think about Cyrus Washington. Won the first foreigner to win the Lithway title with a Taekwondo spinning hook kick.
That's what he hit him with. Huh?
He knocked out Tuntun and damn near killed Tuntun. Yeah. And he became the first foreigner to ever win the title.
Dude, did they give him like the 10 minutes to come back too?
That was he came back and knocked him out again.
Dude, that is so bad
let me see. Let me make sure. I'm not sure if he knocked him out first, then that was the one that finished him off.
Well, there was one where I think where Cyrus got sat down and then he got back up and won.
There was one because they fought Tuntun. We have to get him on there. I think he fought 3 times.
Yeah,
he fought Tuntun 3 times, but Cyrus became the first foreigner to win the Lithway world title, and it was with that spinning hook kick, which he was masterful at. I mean,
I know.
Shattered his jaw. He said he was out for like 10 minutes.
Dude, I can't do that.
I'm on flex ball.
I can't do that.
In my growing. Yeah. I'll be done for life.
I kick somebody in the head, but I can't do that spinning. I can't do it.
Man, funny story. I can kick people in the head. I was once in a fight and I kept trying to throw head kicks. And I remember I came to the corner, Tiger. I was like, "You have to stop." And basically, he was translating like, "That sucks."
No,
it's like you suck. You have got to stop throwing the head kicks, man. So I just went back to elbow, and he was like, "Yeah, do that." I was like, because I remember I asked him, like, "What's he saying?" And they were like loosely translating, and I was like, wait, I suck. I'm like, wait, I'm almost there.
Don't do that.
So I threw one more in the next round, and you could see the look of disgust on his face. He was going to run out the corner, so he started banging the ring, and I was like, I got to stop.
That's fucking hilarious. So wait, okay, so you did JKD, and then you got into Muay Thai. So
we had Muay Thai there.
Right. I mean, that's part of JKD. Yeah. Muay Thai is. But where did you start just doing Muay Thai?
There.
Yeah.
Like, well, we had so the way the academy worked was it was like a curriculum. So, Virginia Beach, that area has a large naval installation. So you have a lot of SEALs there. So he had a regular school. So he had, obviously jiu-jitsu was separate, but he had what was called this defense system, which, you would come in there. So maybe you would get ranked. You would get a colored shirt, and on the sleeve of the shirt, it would be a circle, and that would be your rank, and you would test for it. Maybe it was like a Roman numeral 1.
Right.
And you go out and you get a black shirt, and that's instructor level and things like that. And then you have your black belt. But so you might come on Monday, and the class on Monday would be Thai boxing, hitting the pads. You come on Tuesday, you might be doing some Kali stuff with the stick or the knife. So let's say Tuesday, you might do the stick. Wednesday, you're doing nice stuff. Thursday, you might come in and do Thai boxing again. Friday, you might do like a self-defense jiu-jitsu thing. If they bear hug, the old Gracie system, if someone bear hugs you, this is how you get out of the bear hug. If they put you in a headlock.
I did all that too.
Yeah, so
all of it.
That was his system. So you didn't know what you were getting until you showed up to class. And obviously, the more your rank was, and they had separate class times. So when you got to the higher rank, maybe the purple rank or something, you would do certain more advanced moves. But then he would have separate, like, actual fight team tryouts. And then you would have the separate fight team where guys were fighting. Back in those days, it was Vale Tudo. So you would have the Vale Tudo guys where, if the guys were blue belts, and because Mr. C was getting ready to be a purple, if you had your blue, you could fight Vale Tudo, and then you had the Thai boxing team. And so Sean and I were on the Thai boxing team, and we had another couple guys on there. And and then we'd go and we would fight. You remember Phil Nurse? We would go fight Phil Nurse's guys. And this is the days when there was no commission. So it's like, we guys want to fight elbows? Just go ahead.
Yeah, let's go.
And it'd be a man with a toolbox, and that was the medic.
Yeah.
Stitch you up with the little toolbox.
That's good times.
The Valley Tudo guys would be like, they would wear the gi, and they were like this, yeah, just do whatever.
Yeah, I'm down.
It was a good times back then.
Yeah,
so
sure.
that's when I started. Then I went to Thailand early.
So you went to Thailand. You were in that school, and then you went to Thailand
for a little bit, for like I want to say about 7 months.
Okay.
There, and got my ass whooped, and then learned, came back because I was in college, so finished, and then and then started getting the MMA.
Yeah, and then you did MMA. So you did jiu-jitsu somewhere too? You have to.
4 years. No, I didn't do jiu-jitsu in the beginning.
That's a problem.
Big problem. No, what I did was I had moved to Ohio, so I forget what years. So my MMA career from the start to get into the Ultimate Fighter was only 4 years.
Okay.
I went to Ohio. I ran into Mark Coleman and Kevin Randleman, and of course, I was a fan. I knew who they were and everything. So I was like, oh shit, went over. Actually, I saw him on the side of the road, and I said, oh man, I'm gonna pull over, and started talking to him. And Mark, and they were like, yeah, come on to the gym, where they were training at. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. There was no Hammer House. The Hammer House is where they were. So if they started like training in the parking lot, that was the Hammer House.
That's the Hammer House. Yeah.
So we were at a gym.
People don't know that, dude. People thought Hammer House was a real gym. Place.
No.
I know.
House.
I didn't train Kevin Randleman. He was my friend.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. He was a super great guy. And then I trained Mark Coleman for one of his fights a long time ago in Vegas. But anyway, so you started training with them too?
With them, and they had. Did
they put you on your?
They slammed me so many times because Mark was like, "Yeah, that Muay Thai is good, and you gotta wrestle, and you gotta do." And so he was like, "Yeah, shoot on them random." And now Mark denies the story, but I'm like, Mark, man, you're getting old. This shit happened, man. Random, and I said, "What? Huh?" He picks me up, slams me on my head, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" Then Mark's like, yeah, you gotta wrestle.
Yeah.
And so there were some other guys in there that had a little bit, and there was a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, so I would go there a little bit. Not serious though, but I would go with the guys. They were also training, and there was a couple guys that had no-gi sort of grappling at the level at that time. So what I got a really bullshit triangle that worked very good if you beat the shit out of people on the feet and they fall into the triangle. Like I said, I could choke anyone out if they're unconscious.
But you got long legs, good for a triangle.
Yeah, so that was my move. So I was like, oh shit, I started having, because MMA was an experiment for me. I'm like, oh shit, I got this triangle shit. I'm gonna fight this. There was no Thai boxing in Ohio, so I was like, let me go out there and see what happened. I wanted to fight. Let me try and fight MMA. And I was like, I got a triangle win. I was like, oh shit, let me keep trying to do this. And it works good until you run into somebody that actually like knows what the fuck they're doing. They're like, this bullshit don't work on me. Yeah. And so when I got to the Ultimate Fighter, the guy was like, he was a black belt.
So like, wait. Let's back up. How'd you get into the Ultimate Fighter? How'd you get in there? What season was that?
Season 6, right before Matt.
Right before.
And then
me and Matt.
Yeah, you were the coach of
Matt's
Force team. You were the coach of Matt's, right?
Yeah.
I was. You were Force. He was on Force or Rampage.
Team Force.
Team Force. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Was Matt? He was on your team. That's right. Yeah. And
he was on my team, man. Yeah, for sure.
And he. So what was I saying? Matt and I had known each other. That's around the time I started meeting Matt. We were driving at Cincinnati to George Trigel. Rich Franklin was there.
I went to that gym before. Yep.
I started sparring with Rich because at this point, like my stand-up was better than everybody. So I would just kind of be a sparring partner and doing stuff. And they started helping me kind of perfect my jiu-jitsu a little bit, but it wasn't like still refined enough on the time I got on the show.
Okay.
And that's when they started vouching for me because I had been coming to Vegas with you guys.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, I guess they just ended up asking to be on the show to like make a video. I was like, yeah, all right. So I made this little crazy video and they were like, okay, you're going to be on the show. I thought they were joking. And I remember because I was like, hey, I asked the guy to help me. I was like, hey man, are they drug testing? He's like, what do you ask? I'm like, because I'm high as shit right now. I was like, I'm not passing shit. He's like, hey man, well,
they didn't drug test you guys, did they?
No, thank God I wouldn't have made a show.
No, for pot.
Yeah, for pot.
I don't think they drug test for that anymore. I'm not sure.
Not anymore, but we're talking about back in 2006, 2007.
Yeah, I know.
I was high as a kite.
Yeah.
When I found out I made it, I was like, as high as a kite. And then I remember everybody was telling me.
So Rich Franklin and them told you to make a video.
No, there was another guy that was kind of like, not like a manager, but he was a guy helping get fights. He was like, hey, I got an idea. There's this thing, Ultimate Fighter. You want to do this? I said, well, yeah, what do I have to do? He was like, you got to live in the house. I said, yeah, all right, sure.
Yeah.
And I had kind of had an idea because George Rizal had been on it before.
Right.
I think he was season 3. He had been on it before.
Bro, I used to get in trouble on that show all the time for asking questions, and they would all look at me. Have you ever watched the show? And I'd be like, no, I watched the fights. Yeah. Man. But anyways, so then you sent them a video and they called you up and you went out there.
And I went out there and I guess people vouched for me, so I didn't have to, because you remember we would go spar with all the gyms in Vegas, remember?
Yeah, for
we
sure.
Stand up Thai boxing, we would go to Zion, so I remember sparring Martin Campman, all these, because remember they would ask.
That was my gym.
They would ask, no, we were all with Master Toddy's then. Remember we would go around and
spar but that was the
MMA
gym I taught at.
That's right, because when you were, yes. So that's why we would go over there.
I trained at Master Toddy's, but I taught at another gym.
Because you brought us over there, because that's how I sparred
So
Jahiran, all these guys.
That's how I started. We had all the gyms every Saturday would come to my gym.
Right.
I called everybody and I was like, look, dude, no BS. Just everybody come here, get together. Yeah. We do stand-up sparring, and that's what we do on Saturdays. Right. And everybody started, bro, half the UFC roster was at my gym every weekend.
You used to train half the roster.
That's true, too.
And that's why you would bring Sean, Kevin, me, we would all go over there and we would start sparring. And you would come over, you would spar with us because you were already there. Yeah. Now remember, because you were training at one point, you had every fucking body on the UFC roster.
I had a bunch, yeah. So then you got into the Ultimate Fighter. So what happened on season 6? You were going into a story about something on the season. You tried to triangle some black belt or something?
Oh yeah, it didn't work out. That shit was like quick and over, and then I ended up helping people out on the show with stand up because it was more advanced than most people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody probably, I went at a few cameramen. Well, really was boom like guys, but
we know.
Yeah,
I heard you share that video.
That's
sure. Awesome.
It was kind of funny because after I got off of that, anybody who had been on the show was coming up to me like, "We understand, bro.
Yeah,
we understand."
That camera's up your ass the whole time, dude.
Yeah. I kind of earned a lot of respect from guys that had been on the show previously because I remember I would see them around. They were like, man, we get it, bro.
So let me ask you this. Whenever you did that and then Dana took you in the office and was talking to you, and you're like, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Shit. Do you wish you would have done something different?
Not attack the camera guy? I didn't attack
him,
not go at him.
Not that. Like, okay, let me give you an example. I'm not going to be in the UFC, so fuck it, I want to go home. So you go out, you already went at the camera guy. Dana comes and talks to you. And you're like, fuck them. I don't give a fuck. They fuck with me again. I'll come at him again. And he throws you out and makes you go home. Because you weren't going to be in the UFC anyway, right? Back in those days, they didn't sign anybody else. Or
well, they want. I didn't know. I didn't know where I was going. Matt Hughes and Sarah, they all thought like I was going to have some sort of career. They didn't know. I just wanted to get the fuck off of it.
Yeah.
Because like the UFC was never really my dream because people don't know. Like I've said it before in the interview, like it was a lot of trauma. I couldn't talk about it. I have 2 brothers. One of them passed and he was really good at basketball. And so when I had just started Muay Thai, like he just had this great basketball game against the #1 high school player in the country. I forget his name, but he like destroyed him. And he passed not long after that.
How'd that happen?
Somebody bought him a car, and I don't know we don't know what university it is. He was at a JUCO because this is when they wouldn't let guys come out of high school anymore. They changed the rule where you couldn't enter the draft out of high school.
Right.
And so somebody bought him a car, so he wanted to drive her home because it was a JUCO in Florida. Drive her home to show my mother and my other brother because they were closer in age. I was the oldest one, and he didn't really know how to drive cars. So I guess the story is a semi came over or something, and then hit him, he flipped over, and then
that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. So it was his dream because we used to tell stories like I think it was my 3rd or 4th fight, and we would just keep switching in. This is the VHS days of his game, my game, and we're like, oh, okay, this is gonna be cool. When I talked to him, I had been to town. I was like, hey, when told him about Lumpini and all this, and I was like, man, I want to fight there one day. And he's like, hey, well, I'm being NBA, I'm gonna fly over, we're gonna do this and this and this. So that was always my dream. So the whole thing, because people, when they see my project is one of his basketball jerseys that I cut up, and I took dirt from his grave and from my cousin's grave, and it's in there.
That's cool.
So those are the projects I wear because they're his. Like one of his jerseys, he had one of his great games, and I cut it up, and that's what I tie around my arm and wear. For people who don't know what the project is, it's the armbands you see fighters. So no matter
it's supposed to be something close to you and your mother.
Yeah. That's what the pink is. It's something from my mother that I wear around it. So one arm I have pink, and something that my grandmother told me, like she wrote like a little inspiration thing. It was in a book. She didn't write it for me. It was in a book.
Right.
And I tore that out, put that in there, and then I took pink around it and then put that in there from my mother. It was something that my mother had from a shirt of hers. I put that in there. And then the jersey was from my brother.
Your brother.
Yeah. And then there's dirt from his grave, from my cousin's grave in there.
Man, that's crazy.
And so to say the UFC was never really my dream. I ended up happening there. Do I wish I'd have did something different? No, if I said yeah, it'd have been funny if I would have did something different.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, nah, I just want to ride this, get through with the show. I didn't want to. I did think about saying something because it was that guy, the producer. So the story about that is when they brought me into the room, right in front of the cage, they have all these cameras set up there behind you. And so Dana's there. And the only reason they didn't kick me off was because Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, and all the guys on the team I got along with. I didn't bother anybody. I showed up to work, and I actually was like, hey, even when they would give us days off, we would still have to go to the gym. You know how I did. I don't know. I was there every fucking day. Yeah. I don't know if it changed when you were coaching. No. But as the fighters, we had to go to the gym, and they would sometimes say, okay, you don't have to do nothing today, but you still got to be in the gym. Right. And so I was just like, well, shit. Somebody show me some wrestling, show me something else. I was like, well, fuck it, I lost. I still want to like skill build. I don't want to sit around here. Or I would go hit the bag. I would like, look, I'm not going to fucking waste my time. So and I didn't cause any problems with anybody in the house. So I was respected by everybody in the house and the coaches, and they went to bat for me. They were like, look, he really doesn't fucking bother anybody. He's, he's a good dude, he stayed to himself. He's just here trying to learn. And so they really saved my ass. It was funny because then Dana comes in and he starts like laughing, like, hey kid, you would think like, why'd you go after the guy? I was like, look, man, I had vertigo. I turned out I had an inner ear infection. I'm allergic to aspartame. And it was making my brain swell. Like they had these crystal light packets.
That sweetener shit.
Yeah, sweetener shit. So it was making me dizzy constantly, and I didn't know what it was. So I found it out later when they took me to the hospital. I got a funny story about that shit. All right. But they took me to do this. I hope I don't incriminate myself on this part, on the next part of the story I'm gonna say.
It's too late. Statute of limitations, bro. It's
okay,
over.
Great. So I went to the. So when Dana was sitting there, he starts laughing. He was like, what'd you go after the camera guy for? I was like, look, man, I wasn't going to attack the guy. I don't know. He's not a fighter. I'm not a bully. I was like, look, man, there was no point in filming me. I lost. I just wanted to be left alone. I don't know why they're filming me. He was like, kid, you would think you understand you're on a fucking reality TV show. You would think somebody would film me. I was like, yeah, well, go film the other fucking guy. They're actually doing something. Yeah. Like, leave me alone. I lost, man. And so he starts laughing. So then I start laughing. The producer would be like, if you fucking laugh again, kid, you're off of this show. And I'm like, hey, dude. And I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck you, bro. This is the guy I'll be working for if I make it to this shit. Yeah. He thinks it's funny. I'm laughing because he's laughing. He's going to be my future boss. I don't know you guys. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to see you again. Yeah. So they make you do it again. He's like, cut. You got to do it again. If you fucking laugh. So we're going again. Dana starts looking like he's laughing. So I started laughing. Like I couldn't help myself. So I started laughing.
They cut all that shit out though.
They cut
it. Made it look serious. Like you were like, oh, I'm sorry.
Took like 20 to 30 minutes to film that shit.
What the hell?
Because I kept laughing and I'm not fucking kidding if you laughing again. And meanwhile, I think that was the one time where I was getting ready to be like, you know what, man? Fuck you. Fuck the boom mic guy. Yeah. Just send me back to where I came from. Yeah, fuck you guys. So finally, I was doing it again, and I was like, all right, man, this motherfucker's kind of getting serious with this shit, man. This is like our fourth time laughing at this shit. So I went into character. I put on the sad face, and I looked down, and I was like, well, I don't know, Dana. I did the best.
Shit, dude, you're a good actor. Okay, so Dorian's a good actor. Let's fucking get him in some films or something. Because it didn't look like that when I watched the show. You know what I mean? It looked like Dana said this to you, and you were like, "Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Don't worry, it won't happen again."
No, they kept retaking that shit, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But honestly, that was the best experience because like, I'm always gonna be loyal to the UFC because that experience opened a lot of doors for me, for Muay Thai. Even though it wasn't like I didn't have a great performance at all, but I did land a knee on him, and other people in the show would talk about my Muay Thai, and it kind of got me exposed, I think, in the MMA world, and also having done that, it opened, I think, doors because this is when the time when Thailand was starting to get like Phuket, Tiger was just starting to come up. And it opened the doors for them being like, oh, wow, well, this guy seems like he's a Muay Thai guy. For them to be like, hey, do you want to come to Thailand? We'll sponsor you, especially after the finale.
Is that how you went to that, Tiger Muay Thai? They flew you out there for that?
I flew myself out.
Right.
Cyrus was already there. Cyrus had been there, and he was like destroying the scene. And he was like, hey, because that's at the time. So there's a span in there. It was like, so 2007, 8, 9. So I went to New York with a guy named Dave Branch. He was like, hey, come to New York. I started working there. It was actually Matt Serra first. He gave me my first 2 strikes on my white belt. And then I went back to Ohio for a brief time. And all I was doing was focus on jiu-jitsu. Because after the show, I was so embarrassed and my ground was so bad. I was like, hey, look, let me really just immerse myself in grappling and jiu-jitsu and things like that, you know. And in my mind, I'm like, you know, I wasn't even thinking like I'm never going to do this shit again. But I just was like, well, look, I was embarrassing. So let me just immerse myself in this art and be a martial artist. And so I just started doing jiu-jitsu. Then I ended up with back in New York with Dave Branch. And then that's how I ended up getting my purple. So I got my blue from Professor George Giselle. And then I went and got it from Dave Branch, the purple. And then around the time, Cyrus was like, hey, do you want to come over here? I'm leaving, so let's work it out where you can take this spot for me at Tiger, because there was a gym called Phuket Top Team that was opening up. That was really built for him, for Cyrus, really. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they started for Cyrus. Like it was kind of like, I shouldn't say, but in a lot of ways, yeah, they built it off the back of Cyrus.
Wow.
And he was like, look, come over, take the spot at Tiger. And he put me in touch with the people, and they're like, oh, shit, you want to come to Thailand? Yeah, come out here, you know, because you're doing Muay Thai. Cyrus.
And what was that thing that they ran out there? What was that show? It was a show, right?
No. The Tiger Trials?
Yeah.
That didn't even exist. Tiger was a small gym then. It was more Muay Thai. I became the first, if you consider me a UFC veteran or whatever, I became the first veteran to live out there. Roger Huerta and I think Mike, people have been going out, but they would stay short stints. I became the first to go out there and actually live there. And so it was small. I had a couple rings, nothing like what it is now. There was more Thai boxing focus on it. They didn't even have an MMA team. They had some grappling, but it wasn't an MMA team. So
then how did those tryouts start? Those, what was it?
The Tiger Trials?
Tiger Tryouts, yeah. You remember that?
I wasn't around for them. By then, I had already upgraded because I started fighting in the South. And then after that, I started doing good. And then what happens is I started getting my face put on the posters where I'll be the main attraction. Then Bangkok Gym started hearing about you and everything. And then I got the opportunity to go to Sitwanchai. They were like, hey, we're hearing about you. I asked them, I said, look, I remember I wrote a letter from Phuket, like, hey, and mailed that shit. Then I was like, look, I really like to come up there because I remember watching Porsene.
Yeah, of course.
Fight, and I was like, look, man, I like the way it's style. I think this shit will benefit me because I like the punch, I like the low kick and everything. And I was like, I think it'll help too because I have an elbow game. And they were like, man, we know, you're doing good down there. So they gave me the opportunity. They're like, okay, well, we'll bring you in here, be the first foreigner that we're going to sponsor.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, shit, this is awesome.
And you went out there and you lived out there for how long?
In Thailand in general, or just
that time at Sitwanchai?
Oh, the 10. So from 2009, I lived out there pretty much. That was my base until 2021, right at the start of COVID. Whenever COVID started.
That 2020.
2020 then. Well, yeah. 3 months after when COVID started in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because I was still working for Max when it was going on in Thailand. We didn't know what it was. We was like, hey, man, there's some weird shit coming from China. So
some boat. Anyways, we're not going to talk about that.
As soon as it came, that's when I was out in Thailand from then to then. And then at one point, I spent towards the end of the career, half of my time in Thailand, the other half in Holland.
What happened to your eye out there?
It got some sort of infection. I never figured out what it was.
How did it happen, though? Do you know?
I have no idea.
No idea how it happened.
I think I got some water in it running, and one day in a puddle splashed in my eye, and then the next morning some shit just started.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not joking. And then some shit just started getting infected.
What the fuck?
And I remember they kept taking me to the hospital, and they're like,
I remember seeing pictures of that thing on your eye with tape on it.
Oh man,
over your eye. And you're in Thailand, hot as hell too.
Hot. They told me to turn my air conditioning off. Finally got a doctor.
What?
You know who saved me from that shit was Mark Hunt.
Really?
I ran out of money. I didn't have any money. I hadn't even fought in Thailand yet. So Tiger and I'll leave the guy's name out because I don't want to give him any airtime. He was like, "Hey, you got to get out of here." I'm like, "Motherfucker, what am I gonna go? I can't fucking fight, bro. Like, how am I gonna make money?"
Yeah.
He's like, "You got to get department or something." I'm like, "Bro, where the fuck am I gonna go
with what?"
Yeah, I'm like, "I can't fucking see, bro. You see me here in agony. I'm moaning in the fucking room."
Yeah.
And they are So then Mark Hunt was like, he had happened to come out there at the time, and he was like, "Oh, I help you out." So he actually took me to a good hospital and gave, and paid for it. And they were like, first thing they were like, "You gotta turn your fan off." They started rubbing. I don't know what it was. They put these things to open my eye, and they started rubbing cream on it. And that shit felt orgasmic, man, because it felt like at one point like somebody was
like it soothed it right off the bat.
It got to the point where it was starting to feel like somebody was making paper cuts on my eyeball. They told me I had only a fan. So they were like, "You got to turn the fan off because it's drying your eyes out and it's making it worse." They're like, so that's the first. I'm like, "Yo, there's no aircon in that room." They're like, what do you want to do? You want to be blind or do you want to get this shit fixed? And so I turned the fan off. Then that shit soothed it, man. Oh my God, it soothed it.
And they gave you antibiotics for it or what?
I think they gave me antibiotics. The biggest thing I remember was the fucking Q-tip that they would put on and rub on my eyeball. That's what I fucking remember.
It had to be some kind of antibiotic ointment or some shit.
It must, because like I said, the pain was unfucking bearable. To take the scooter there, I would have to stop like 5 or 6 times because the wind blowing.
Yeah.
I would be like, "You guys got to stop," and I would just lay hunched over on the side of the road, just grabbing myself. I like, "You guys got to stop," and they're like, "Come on, we got to get on the bike." I was like, "Please give me a fucking minute."
So how long did it take to heal when you put all that shit on there?
I think I spent had close to half a year. Because I remember the Thais, people started gambling to see if I would stay.
You went to Thailand, got the infection in your eye. You didn't even fight yet. And you spent 6 months not fighting there?
Not fighting completely.
How did you live? How did you make money?
Well, on the program, they gave us, we got food.
Okay.
So they would give us the meals a day. So that's all I needed. And I was able to stay in the little hut right by the ring, the fighter ring. So they're like, "Look, we'll do this." And then I remember going to when this one guy was like, "Hey, look, you gotta, go." But this was towards the end, and I remember saying, "All right, it's by this time it had started to heal." But they told me you're never going to get all your vision back because whatever you done is fucked up. So you're only going to get some of this. You can't restore all your vision is never coming back. Maybe, but maybe not. But it didn't come back. So I still couldn't see all the way. And there was a tournament, and you remember these guys. It was Kai Hollenbeck.
Yeah,
Rami Adanza.
That's my friend too.
I knew you know all these guys.
Yeah.
And it was a tournament in the Philippines put on by this Chinese thing. So they needed it was a 4-man tournament, and they needed an American. Now Kai Hollenbeck was supposed to be the American, but then he switched off to a super fight. And I was like, and they said, "Do you want to do it?" I said, "Fuck yeah." They're like, "Can you see?" I was like, yeah, I'm all right.
I'm good.
Blind as fuck. I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I did that. I needed the money.
Yeah.
So I went over to Pervaders. I think there's an interview of me doing it. And I'm sitting there like with my eyes like half closed. But I'm looking around so they can't really tell. So I'm just kind of like looking all over the place. They can't like keying on my eye. Then I went in there and fought that fight. And the motherfucker swelled up my good eye.
Wow.
The Chinese motherfucker. It was a 4-man tournament because they needed an American. They had the Chinese guy in it because China was putting on the tournament. It was a Korean. And there was a Filipino in the tournament. And I remember the first round I drew the Chinese guy. All these Chinese motherfuckers missed weight. They just walked across the scale. Like, how you have to get on the scale, you have to stop and you have to pose.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers were just like, if the scale, they would just walk right over that motherfucker. I was like, whoa.
And nobody gave a shit.
Nobody gave a shit. Look, nobody sees this shit, man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's
and then
normal.
so some of the other guys, Rami's guy, Kai, I think they all missed weight. And they were like, Colin Oyama, he's a G. He was like, nah, man, y'all motherfuckers gotta go out there and make weight. I think
Oyama told him?
this motherfucker was
Dude,
a G.
I love that
He
dude.
was a G. He was
That
like,
dude's
no,
awesome.
y'all
Yeah.
just gotta go make that weight. We don't give a fuck. I went and sit in the hallway, seen these motherfuckers was damn near eating pizza with a sauna suit on. They weren't trying to make weight.
What?
I seen my
Did
guy.
they ever make it?
I don't know. I don't know if my guy did.
So that's a no.
I'm sure
That's a
no.
fucking no.
It's a Chinese
No.
promotion. But Rami banged this guy out. The other guy, God,
Dude,
banged this
Romy,
guy.
for that little fucking dude,
hit like a truck.
hard, bro.
He knocked this guy out. Kai knocked this guy out. I didn't make it out the first round because I couldn't see out the eye, and this motherfucker was huge. So I think it was the second round. He stopped me, so I didn't get out of that. Then I remember the motherfuckers left. They were like, "All right, you got to get not a visa, but like he told me to do something at the immigration in the Philippines. I forget. It's been so long, man.
All right.
They were like, you got to do something. So the guy I was with, he didn't even help me cut weight. I'm putting a sauna suit on. I'm just jogging around the hotel by myself, like just running around, like doing like up and down the hallway and shit. And he's like, you got to stay in the Philippines. So I was like, all right. So when it was time to leave, I remember going there. Now, mind you, my eyes fucking swelled up, right? So it looked like I just got jumped or mugged or something. You got to go through in the Philippines, you got to go through, there's a little security before you get to the airport, before you get in the airport. So you go through that. I remember I took all this shit out. I had all the peso, the Filipino currency. I put it all on there. And it was these two guys, the military guys. And they were like, all right, told me, come over. I was like, oh shit. And they were like, in a nice way, most Filipinos speak English like, we might find something in your bag, like drugs. I was like this. Look, man, I know how this works, man. What's it gonna cost, man, to get on?
Yeah.
Like, what's it gonna cost, man? Look at me, man.
Yeah.
I just got beat up, man. What you want? And so they took it, and to leave the Philippines, you got to pay a tax. So
Okay.
they gave me enough to get the tax back. Went back there, and basically, I got extorted to get out of there.
So they took all your money, but
Took
enough
my
to
money.
get the tax.
But
so
enough
you
to
can
pay.
get
Yes, so I
get
could
out.
get on the plane and get out because you have to pay the tax to get out.
And then they took your money and you're gone. So it's good for them, right?
Yeah, I was gone. Yeah, it was.
Fuck. So they took all your money from that fight.
It was a little bit left, enough to pay the tax, and I had a little bit left, maybe buy a couple snacks or something.
So then, okay. Wait,
So
hold
then
the fuck on. So wait, hold on. So you were in Thailand 6 months, didn't fight, didn't get paid because your eye was fucked up.
Yeah.
Got your eye healed. Then you went to the Philippines so you could make some money to keep living in Thailand.
Yeah.
Went over there and they fucking jacked your money.
Yeah.
Then you went back to Thailand and you had no money.
And I fought 3 days later. That's when I made the money.
Because you had to.
I had to fight 3 days later. So I fought because I didn't have phones, and so I was like, it was just lucky. I was going to the hotel that I was at, and I said, hey, guys, get me a fight when I come back. I hadn't been jacked yet. I was like, hey, just give me a fight when I come back. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be 2 weeks or something. And so as soon as I got back, I was like, yo, man, I don't, that fight I was asking for, I'm going to need that shit immediately.
I'm going to need it.
They're
now.
looking at me like, man, your eyes fucked there. I was like, bro, I'm going to need that fight immediately because, I need to get out of here. I need to get my own thing. And so I fought 3 days later, got robbed because I fought a guy that was 205, and I fractured his arm and gave him 40 stitches. And because he was part of the promoter's gym, automatically lost. And I'm like, wait a minute, this motherfucker's way bigger than me and everything. And how the hell do you guys gonna do this? So I fucked him up, still lost. Then I remember saying, all right, give me another fight. And they were like, all right. So then they gave me another fight, another 3 days later.
Wait, so wait. So you fought once, you went back to Thailand.
The Philippines.
And then you fought 3 days later, and then 3 days after that fight, you fucking fought again.
Then I won. Then I started going on, I think it was like a 7-fight winning streak.
All right.
And to say after that, the Philippines is still one of my favorite places to fight. I love the Philippines.
Even though they jacked you?
I don't care. I love the Philippines.
Really?
I love the fans there, the culture, everything is, because they don't, I have never fought in Mexico, but I went down there with Kevin when he fought in Guadalajara.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like, they care about your heart, man. If you fight with courage, win or lose, and they don't have a word for fans, so they will come up like, oh, my idol, my idol. when they wanted to like take pictures, and they remember they were coming back in the locker room and they were like, oh, we want to take pictures when we left the event. And the venue like, oh, we want to take pictures. And I was like, man, I lost. I'm thinking from American mindset, like, man, I got beat up. Nobody gives a fuck.
But they liked your heart, though.
They liked the heart. Because
Thailand likes that, too.
Thailand likes it, too. But the Philippines, they love, if you fight with courage, win, lose, or draw, they don't care. They look at you like, they looked at me like I was the same as if I won the whole damn 4-man tournament.
That's awesome.
They were like, hey, can we take pictures? Can we get an autograph? Oh, idol, idol, idol. That's what their word for fan. That's, I guess, how they say it in English. They're like, idol, idol. Can we take a picture? I was like, oh shit. So I went there and I fought there a couple more times.
Hell yeah. And
not on that show.
Dude, I've never been to the Philippines. I want to go. But they like that in Thailand too. If you got heart and you get cracked and you just keep coming, let's go.
They
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They just, the Thais, they say, I had a trainer explain it to me. He said, so I asked him about that. He said, you can, and then translating it, loosely translating, he said, you can always, you can give a man skill, but you can never give a man heart.
Yeah.
So they were like, they don't care. They want to see you fight sometimes just to see if you have heart. They know you're going to lose. They'll literally put you in a fight to know you have no chance of winning. And they just want to see if you have courage, what your heart's like. Yeah. There's not a snowball's chance in hell. You're completely overmatched. They know there's no, unless like fucking the sun shines on your ass on that specific day, God's looking out for you on that specific moment in the day, there ain't no chance in hell for you to win. Yeah. They just want to see what your heart's like. And if you show heart, they'll embrace you and they'll give you the skills you need. Because they always say you can always teach a man skill, but you can never give a man heart. And that's why they don't really look at winning or losing, because they know if you keep at it, eventually you're going to figure it out. And they'll keep putting skill into you. But if you show you don't have courage, they'll turn their back on you. They'll be nice to you, but they're not going to waste their time at all.
Which is, I mean, yeah, I understand that though.
We can't do that in America though.
Yeah, I know. You gotta build heart into people. That you gotta show them that they can do it. Mm-hmm. Like you have to show people, look, dude, you don't, even when you're tired, you can still go. You have to show them.
You have to show them.
And then when they do it, then it's up to them to have heart.
Yeah.
You know? That's tough. So what did you do after that?
After that, I kept fighting. I was there for a while. I had a bunch of good fights with Tiger. My trainer there, Crew Don, was amazing. He really genuinely cared about me. Like I still go, when I visit, I always go pay my respects to him and a lot of other guys, the trainers at Tiger, that are still there that I remember. A lot of them gone other places, but I stayed there. And then it wasn't long after that, I left for about a year, went to Malaysia, and I was teaching at a gym and fighting at a gym in Petlan Jaya, Malaysia. And from there, stayed there. And then,
how long did you stay there in Malaysia?
A little bit over a year, because this guy had started like a fight team there. And this was the original. So I was there for the very first 1FC, because 1FC used to be called Martial Combat, and then it switched over to becoming the One. Their very first show was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I was in Petlan Jaya, Malaysia. So I remember going over there to watch it. The first model the 1FC did, I thought was really smart. They didn't sign the fighter. They signed the gym.
Ah.
So I was at a gym. There was a big gym in Petlan Jaya, Malaysia. So anybody in that gym, if you wanted to start fighting, they weren't doing kickboxing at that time. There was the MMA thing. If you wanted to fight, you had to come out of, if you were at a gym that was a 1FC sponsored gym, you had to fight for the 1FC. Oh. And they would go around and they would start signing the gyms all throughout Southeast Asia. And I thought that was really smart. So if any talent came out, you got him instantly. And if the guy don't want to go to the one, he have to leave the gym. And if he's in the area that he can't, there's not another gym available, like you were talking about bodies, all the bodies are there, what's he gonna do? He gotta fight for the one.
Yeah.
Then as they started to grow, then I guess they started going to the individual model, grabbing the fighters. But initially, that's what they were doing. They were signing the gyms.
That's smart.
I thought it was pretty smart.
That's smart, especially for like those countries where the owners are telling you what to fight. You're not telling them.
Yeah.
Like in America.
Yeah.
They tell you, you're fighting here, you're doing this, and this is what you're getting.
Well, in Petlan Jaya, it was like a international, there was a lot of French guys on the team. Cause this guy he had all these other guys, like kind of international. We had 2 Filipinos, I think, and a couple ethnic Malays there. But it was a Chinese Malay that owned the gym. Guy with money, real cool guy. And yeah, so we were just like a kind of like an international for as far as the fight team. It was an American, and yeah, it was 2 Filipinos and a couple French guys, and that was the team. And
how long you stay in Malaysia? A year?
A little over a year, I think.
And then,
a little over a year.
What?
I went back to Thailand. That's when Sitman Chai. I went back up.
So from Malaysia, you went right back to Thailand.
Because I remember I told you I wrote the letters to Sitman Chai. It didn't happen overnight, you know. So the story might blend together. I wrote the letters, and they were like, "Oh, you're doing good and everything." Didn't hear anything, but then I went to Malaysia.
Okay.
From Malaysia, I stayed
that was before you went to.
Before I went to Malaysia.
Sitman Chai.
Yeah, before I went to Sitman Chai.
Okay. I
was writing the letters, and then they were like still trying to correspond. Now I have a laptop. Somebody gave me a laptop in Thailand, and then I had a laptop, and so I, you know, it was Facebook days. I don't know if Instagram was around. I didn't have one, and then I was like, messaging the lady Abigail, sweetheart, love her. You know Abigail, love her.
I don't know her personally, but I know who she is.
You know she is, right?
Yeah,
love her.
for sure.
She became like a big sister to me.
Yeah,
and she was like, "Look, the big boss really likes what you're doing. Why don't you come back?" And then what happened from Malaysia? Matt had a fight. Matt flew me back from Malaysia. Worked
Matt Brown.
Yeah. Then from there, after that, I went back to. I actually stayed there for maybe 2 fights for Matt, and then right after that, Abigail was like, "Look, sweetheart, look, the big boss is PA. He's agreed. You know, he really wants you to come over. So look, come on over here." And
hell yeah!
I went right over there to Sitman Chai. I remember they took me into a room. It was like a mattress on the floor, another mattress all pushed up together. It was a little fan. It was hot as hell. And I don't know what they thought they showed, like, this is your room. And they kind of see like all the Thai boys looking at me like, oh, he ain't gonna like this. I'm like, all right, sweet. So where I put my bag, I just put my bag over there, and I went and laid down on the mattress. Like, okay, so this is my mattress. And I just sprawled out there. And then you could see the Thai boys, they were like this. This motherfucker, he is crazy. Like he's coming here and subjecting himself to this shit because it was hilarious. Bro,
that's what it takes to fight. Is people don't understand that shit. These spoiled kids nowadays. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get a hotel with fucking AC and a concierge and shit. You sleep on a bed with the kid's feet in your fucking face. Get your feet out of my face, kid. Fucking hot as hell. It sucks.
I think that's what, because when people ask me, I had a lot of fights over there, but I don't think I didn't earn respect as much from the fights as from, like, you look at the guys like Liam and John Wayne, these legendary guys that really did their time over there, the Danny Bills, these guys. You know, I'm not in that cloth for them. You know, as being an American and being the first American to do a lot of these things, I think what I really got the respect for is the fact that I was willing to live in the conditions with them and live amongst them. Not so much for fighting, because, you know, compared to those other guys, I'm not shit compared to those legendary fighters like that. But I think the fact that I was willing to sit there and, like, certain camps, I bathed out of a trash can for over a year and a half because that's what a shower was.
With the scoop?
Scoop it up, you kick the trash can over, bathe out of that.
I know Thai people that live here that still shower
do
like that.
Yeah.
And, like, you got a shower head.
Nope, they like it. It's comfortable. That's what they know. I did it. I started getting comfortable. I think that's what kind of earned the respect amongst the Thai people, because they were looked and they're like, this motherfucker is really fucking nuts. He's committed. Like,
he really wants to do it.
He's like that fucking committed. He's willing to subject himself to this shit. Like cobras coming in my room, that kind of shit.
Wait, what?
I was at a camp. I had took an underground fight.
A fucking cobra?
Oh, bro. I have like still. I actually got somebody that's writing a book on this shit. Took an underground. I was at another camp. So I had left Sitman Chai. I stayed at Sitman Chai maybe 2 years, 2.5, 3 years. Left there, went to another camp, and it had a lot of good foreign fighters. And I was there at this camp. So this is where I was bathing out of the trash can. So you had a couple good foreign and some Thai. So they had a lot of the UK guys, a couple UK guys, one French guy, Aussie guy, and a kid from Wales, and just other Thais, right? And it was just a strong camp. And so I had taken an underground fight because the king had passed. Here's the funny story about it. I was at Eminent Air. So when I had left, I went to Eminent Air. And so I was training there to go fight on, ironically, Max Muay Thai.
Okay.
and the king passed. And so when the king had passed, all fights got shut down.
Right.
Again, I found myself with no real money. No money. So I was like, what am I going to do? I remember I messaged the guy and he was like, okay, this is what you got to do. You're going to have to walk. So you're going to walk X amount of miles. Don't get on the car. Like, hey, man, the BTS is right here, the subway, the train station, the bank. I was like, but it's right there. He's like, you ain't going to have money for that. You're going to have to walk all the way down. So he's telling me, he's like, then you're going to get on this station. Then from this station, you're going to pay your way and you're only going to have enough to go to here. From here, you're not near the side of my bus station. You're going to be about 3 miles. You're going to walk to the side of my bus station. From the side of my bus station, you're going to buy a ticket. You're going to buy your ticket to Phuket. You're going to have just enough money for like a bag of chips, a snack, and a bottle of water.
What the fuck?
It's like an 18-hour ride or something like that on the bus. Don't drink all your water. Sip it.
What the
He said when you get to Phuket, you get to the bus station, you're going to have just enough to get a motorbike taxi to get to where you want to go. He's like, now, if you can get one of them trainers to meet you there, that'll help you out. But that's what you're going to do. And I shit you not. There's a famous video when I'm walking in the water, my feet, and the water's all on my feet, and I'm walking barefoot through the water. If you go on my Instagram, you can see it. I'm just walking. I'm like, hey, I got feet like a hobbit, because the alley in Eminent Air, anybody's been there, used to flood like crazy when it rains. I don't know if it still does or whatever, but when it would rain and I was at the end of the street and the room's at the end and it will flood, and I was like, fuck, just my luck, man. The time I got to get out of here we go in a fucking torrential downpour with it flooding. So I remember walking, and it was hilarious because I get to the end of the fucking thing. So I'm past Eminent Air. I get to the end of the fucking thing, and it's like a little shack shanty town, and it just got to just look like he's done killed several people.
Probably has.
Faces got, the guy with the sock yarn all over. He got the gold teeth. And I'm like this. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to be a mark, man, on this guy. He killed several people, and he started waving me. The ties do this. He started waving me over, and I'm like, this man, fuck. Maybe I should just ignore this guy. Don't make eye contact. And then what I do, I make eye contact so he knows I see them. So I'm like, all right, here we go. So I go over there, and he literally just have a little shack. So he's like grabbing me. And at first I kind of like pulling away. I'm like, this man, like, I don't know, man. Like pull away, looking at his hand like, man, don't have a shank or something. And he's like, oh, no. So then he come and he's like, he just wanted me to get out the rain.
Oh.
He's like, just get out the rain. And he calls somebody over, and they're like, oh, he wants you to get out the rain. He don't want you walking in the rain. He want to figure out where you going, and he going to help you find a cab and stuff to get out there. So I found the actual cab that took me to, that took me to the next station where I had to go. Because I didn't have enough money to take the cab all the way. So I was like, look, man, I just need to go to here. Because I'm trying to follow the guys in directions. So I'm like, all right, this is saving me some walk time. So I'm like, all right, I need to go to this station. I don't know if it was the Undu station. I forget what station it was. But he's like, my friend told him, you got to go to this station. Got on there, went on to the BTS, paid. Was like, I'm going to the side of my bus station. Rode that, got to where I was close to it, walked, and got on the bus. I had and he was to the fucking bot. I had just enough money for some water and a snack, and I sipped that water on that bus ride.
Bro, this is what it takes to be a fighter, dude.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. People think that it's going to be all glamorous and shit. I'm going to be on TV and I'm going to make all this fucking money and do all that. Yeah.
My first Lumpini fight was on the same day.
That day that you did all that shit?
No, not that. The first Lumpini fight that I had was on the same day. It was the same day notice. I didn't know I was fighting a Lumpini.
Oh, yeah.
I was running, and girl I was dating, because I had fought a bunch. I was a Sitmunchai, and a girl that I was dating from Australia came over to visit me, and we went on a vacation. The boss let us use a car or whatever. He wouldn't let me drive. He let her drive, 'cause she was used to driving on the side of the road. We went to a place called Kanchanaburi, had a nice time, came back, and I remember trying to ask her, like, hey, you want to stay in? And she was like on the match, I'm thinking I'm cool, whatever, man. Girl's like, no. I was like, no, you out of your fucking mind. So we went and stayed at this little love motel where people bring their mistresses. You rent it by the little love motel and shit. It was right by the camp.
You could rent it by the hour.
You rent it by the hour, because he would take their mistresses there, and the people would do that shit. And so I remember we stayed there. The next morning we get up, Cause she was good. She trained too. And so we get up, we go back. And we run and we do our 10K, come back, and I'm wrapping my hands. And crew drew out. I was like, no, don't wrap your hands, check your weight. And I remember checking the weight because he's on the phone with PA, the big boss. I check your weight. PA was already in Bangkok, so he drove back. And he was like, all right, go shower up. Crew drew out. I was like, all right, go shower. You're going to fight tonight. And I don't think they didn't tell me I was fighting Lumpini. So I go back to the Love. We walk back to the Love Motel, shower up, and PA, crew drew out. And I don't remember if you remember this guy, Yoshi. He trains at the yard with Joe Schilling. He's on the trainers there. Yoshi, Asian guy.
I think I know who he is, but I don't really know him that well.
Okay, that was my go-to guy. So he would always corner me.
Okay.
And he would always be there because he would give me, Crew Drew Out was my trainer. He lived on the mattress next to me. So Yoshi was there, and Yoshi was really cool with the big boss. And so Yoshi was like my go-to guy. So like I would get done with my 5 rounds with Crew Drew Out and stuff. And then Yoshi would be out there, and we just started hitting off because one day I went to PI. I was like, hey, can I ask him to hold pads? And I went to Yoshi. I was like, hey, man, do you want to hold some pads? He's like, yeah. And he could hold the mitts. So I was like, I would get like sometimes 10 rounds. I would get 5 extra rounds going with Yoshi because he didn't mind doing it. So after every fight, I got a funny story after this story about how I got Yoshi to my Thai fight in Patani when I fought Antoine.
Okay.
It's a funny fucking story. So we fought that. So the same day we went down there, we fought in Lumpini, weighed in, yada, yada, yada.
And the old Lumpini.
In the original. All my fights were in the old Lumpini, and I never fought in the new Lumpini. To be honest, I've never been in the new Lumpini. Honestly.
I've been to the new one, but I've never fought in Lumpini. But I've been to the old one too.
And yeah, I've never been to the new one. Well, here's a funny story about the Yoshi.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So Yoshi, I was like, look, man, I gotta have Yoshi with me at all times, man, because he's like good vibe. So he's going to the Patani fight, and they were like the Thai fights, and it was a big deal when I was fighting Antoine. By this thing, my name was going up, and people thought like, man, this guy have a chance to beat him. And this
so he's talking about Antoine Pinto.
Antoine Pinto, who's incredible.
One of the only foreigners to ever win a Lumpini championship.
He didn't win a Lumpini title. What he did do,
who did? Who was the foreigner that did?
Oh, you're thinking of Damian Alamos.
Damian Alamos.
He was the only one that defended. But then you had Yusuf Bogan. We have a couple now since him. But he was the original. Damian Alamos was the first one. Ironically, he beat Kung Fa, who was at Sitmon Chai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he beat Kung Fa, who was the current champion at that time.
Okay.
Kung Fa, man, we got some funny stories. I'm not
amazing clincher. Go back with Antoine Pinto.
The Antoine story. So I was like, look, man, they were like, look, you're the only one that's fighting. You're the co-main event. And there was another kid at the camp. I was like, we can bring him. So I was like, PA, look, man, I really got to have Yoshi down here with me. I really want Yoshi to come. And he was like, all right. So he goes and he puts this other guy on there, knowing this guy's going to get slaughtered just so Yoshi
could go. Who was the guy? Where was he from?
He was from the UK. And it was funny because he would say, because he started doing this like, because this time more foreigners started coming in the sense. He's like, who am I fighting? How many fights does he have? Is it video? And PA, he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette like, you want to fight or no fight?
Yeah.
You could see, they get frustrated like, you want to fight, no fight? Because he was like, I'm not dealing with all these questions. And so the kid was hilarious. So I remember saying to Yoshi, I was like, all right, man, this is going to work out perfectly. Homeboy's going to die just coming to back, man.
So is that what happened?
Yeah, he got murked bad, man.
Bro, so look, I try to tell people this. Back in my day, in your day, when you went to Thailand or somewhere, look, you don't have a fucking choice who you fight.
No.
Like, I don't understand these guys nowadays, even here in America, where, oh, no, I'm not going to fight him. I'll fight him. Bitch, this is the fight I have for you. Yeah. You're going to fight this guy or you're not going to fight.
They're not going to fight.
You don't have a choice.
No.
Oh, I want to fight him or him.
No.
Not him, though. No. You have to fight this guy. How many fights does he have? None. No. This is the guy you're fighting. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's it.
And in Thailand, it didn't make no sense. It was like, how many, because I remember I was kind of thinking, how many fights does he have And he was asking me like, hey, you heard this guy? How many fights he had? I was like, just a lot more than you, motherfucker. Just like the guy I'm fighting. The guy
Dude, he had more fights than you when he was 15, bro.
Yeah, I was like, put it like this, bro. Hey, let me break it down to you. How old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 20, something like this. Okay, so check this out. He probably had 20 fights when you was in your daddy's nutsack. All right? And now he's probably got 3 times as many fights as you have.
100%.
Bro, grab your balls and go fight, man.
Yeah.
That's the point of this shit.
You just got to throw, man. You got to show that heart.
Oh, he was just, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, good, man. I remember looking at Yoshi. I was like, all right, good, man. So he gonna get splattered and I just hurry up and come through.
You're fucking.
Because I asked you, I was like, all right, look, man. Because look, man, I need a Yoshi around, man. And I was like, all right, look, man. So, look, PA will be out there. Look. Homeboy, he's getting sent to the Astrodome. This ain't gonna last the first round. So I was like, look, if he get on the stretch or something, just don't even run in the ring. Just tell you got to run back to help me. So as soon as he goes down, he's not getting up. Start your walk back through the crowd because it was like 55,000 people there. So I was like, yo, just hurry up and get back to me, man. I was like, as soon as this guy gets splattered, man, he getting sent to the Astrodome and ain't going out the first round.
That's pretty fucked up.
When he goes down, he's not getting back up. Just start your walk back through the crowd to me.
Damn, dude. Damn.
Because Yoshi was like the good luck charm for me, man. He was a super cool guy.
I tell my fighters this, and I've told my fighters this before. Somebody's asked me, do you mind if this person comes and corners me? I said, listen, if you feel comfortable with your fucking mama in the corner, call your mama. Bring her in there. If you feel comfortable with me, whoever you feel like you're going to put on your best performance, you're going to be the best that you can be in there, that's who I want in your corner. Yeah. You know, I help you as much as I can. I'm a good corner man, but
he was also training me too. Like it was Crew Drop. He got along with Crew Drop.
But you felt comfortable with him.
And him and Crew Drop. I needed both of them to be together. Now the big boss PA, of course, I love him to death. But you know, when I came time for it, like PA always going to supersede. And he gives great advice. But I was like, look, one, I lived on a mattress right next to Crew Drop. He was, every morning like making sure I'm running. If I needed anything, he was like my real crew, so to speak. Right. Like he was the guy that was looking out for me. Yoshi was the guy I felt comfortable. He was giving me extra rounds. We would experiment. And then when I had my time at Simonchai, like he was really helping me out a lot. So I was like, bro, I need this guy in my corner. He's actually my trainer, not some random joker I found.
Dude, and so you stayed there. That was before 2020.
Oh, way before 2020.
And then after 2020 and the pandemic hit, then where'd you go?
I'm here now. After 20, what do you mean?
So when the pandemic hit,
I was working for Max. By that point, I had the double knockdown,
and then you started working for Max.
Right after the double knockdown, I went to Holland for my sensei gym over there, Ryan Simpson. I had a sponsor, and
what gym is that?
Simpson Gym.
Simpson Gym.
I had
where is that?
It's in Almere, so it's in the Netherlands. But you have Amsterdam and then Almere. I think Almere is central, maybe, but it was in Almere. We had two. Yeah, I should know this, but it was like a good while I was going back and forth because I actually had a sponsor from Australia who this guy was like, hey, I'll sponsor you, man, because you like your work ethic. So the guy would literally fly me to Holland if I had a big fight, or I was like, hey, I want to go over there, and I would just mess with him like, hey, man, I want to ready to go back to Thailand. He would fly me back to Thailand.
What the hell?
He would literally be like, bro. He would fly me if I like, hey, man, let's say I took like a bunch of fights, because the thing with my career is it's like it was spotty. So I might take like in a 3-month time, I might take 10 fights. Then I'm gonna just do something else, and I'm gonna call the guy in Australia when I just sponsor. Hey man, look, I just want to get away. Go to Australia or go do something else, or I might go quote unquote manage a gym in Phuket, because that's another weird story that I had. Like by this like guy who kept going to jail. Like he was in jail, but then in jail he met these like, we'll say, gangsters allegedly. And they kind of like put him on with certain things, and he would be like, oh, okay. So if I like got injured or something, I needed a break, he would be like, hey, why don't you come down here and you can manage this?
Manage
the gym. So you manage fight. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just training to fight. And he's like, yeah, I know. They're gonna pay you to manage it.
Ah, nice.
So they would do that. So the guy would sponsor, the Australian guy would sponsor me to go back and forth to Holland to train. And so I was there for the double knock. So I had to fight with the guy Jonathan. We had the double knockdown. I didn't want to fight anymore because I was by this time I was at a sponsored gym. It was called Kaisensuk. It was only for Max fighters. There was no address. There was 3 gyms that were sponsored by Max. There was the one right by the stadium, which was basically called the Max Gym. There was another one, which was the one we were at, which was on the kind of the outskirts of Pattaya, and it was called Kaisensuk. And there was another one. It wasn't called. I forget what it was first called, but then one of the guys who used to stay at Max went over there and ran it, and then it became Singday Cha. So the boss was actually funding these gyms to keep them open and stuff, but he let these two keep the family names, Kaisensuk. And they had a connection with actually Sitmo Cha, Big Boss. So one of the trainers that I had known for a very long time, who's part of the legendary Sit O camp, so it was a legendary camp, and he was like, he asked me to come over. He's like, look, would you come be part of the gym? Or I was like, okay, cool. He's like, all right, everybody got to fight on Max. So after I fought Jonathan, I had a double knockdown. I was like, all right, I'm going to Holland. So the guy in Australia, he flew me over to Holland, and I was staying there. I thought I was gonna fight Singdam. There's many Singdam, just for anybody who don't know, it just literally means translation black lion. So Dam is black, Sing is lion. So Singdam. So I was like, he was a taller tie my height. I thought I was gonna fight him. So I was preparing, but all the while, I wanted to retire before that fucking double knockdown. I was like, this is it for me. And then after the dude hit me, I'd never been in a fight. And the first time he hit me, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit no more. you might see it on the video because I remember stepping back like, oh God, no, I don't need to do this shit no more. And then so I was like, well, fuck, I don't know what else to do. So I'm over there preparing for it, flew back. And I'll never forget when I got there. And you know how this is as a coach, especially somebody at your level, you learn to read your guys. Yeah. So you know when they're in it, especially as they start the age, because you know, you one of the guys that I looked up to as far as being the coach and things and stuff like that. So you know. So these ties, they knew the guy been around me. He knew like, okay, he's followed my career. He's known me for over a decade being in Thailand. He was like, he don't want to do this no more. He getting older. He don't really feel like doing this. Yeah. His body's beat up. And so when I flew back, so him and it was a guy from Wales, they had already started working it out for me to commentate without me even knowing. So when I flew back, the fight with Singdam hadn't been.
But that sealed the deal because that double knockdown, you getting up, especially Thailand, they love a comeback.
Oh, they
love a comeback better than anything. That sealed the deal for you to be a commentator.
Oh, it sealed it. It made the big difference.
Yeah.
And then they made the deal. And then the guy Rob Cox, who's legendary, has like been a really huge help for me in Thailand. Like got a mentor for me like when I was in Thailand, and he actually commentated my very first Lumpini fight. He was actually the commentator of Max, in charge of all the English and Thai commentators over there. And this kid from Wales and the trainer Chanrit and the mama and papa Pinoy of Kaisensuk, they were already working it out for me to come back there and like see if I could be a commentator. And so when I landed, I remember kept going back to Pattaya, putting my stuff in the room, and I'm thinking, here I am, because I just been in a training camp in Holland, thinking like, all right, man, here we gonna go, and then I'm just gonna wait for them to make the matchup with Singdam. I figured it'd be like 2 weeks later or something. I think I got in. I came in the evening. I slept. The following morning, you know, I go through the training and everything. That night, they were like, hey, you have to go to the stadium. When the boys comes in the room, he's like, hey, you got to go to the stadium, but you got to put jeans on, like, because, you know, you can't wear, in the corner there, you can't wear shorts. You have to wear jeans. I know. So they were like, go put some jeans on. I put them on. They were like, and they give me just a polo shirt. And by polo, I mean with the collar, not with the brand.
Right.
And they were like, so I get in the back of the pickup truck. We go over there because one of the boys was fighting too. We go over there, and I remember seeing Rob Cox. At this time, wasn't Matt Lucas. It was John Wolcott, who's an awesome guy, commentating. And Rob was like, all right, mate, come on, sit down here, put the headsets on, go through. And I just kind of went through it. The next day, I kind of had my little test run. And he was like, look, you got some things to work on, but you're pretty okay at this. You know, you got a good base. Do you want to do this? I was like, what? They were like, I was like, yeah, I want to do this. They took so good care of me. The big boss, who's a politician and like had a lot of power, and the Mama and Papa Casa, they took such good care of me because I literally fell into depression because I didn't know what to do with myself. Even though I had a job, we talked about this before. When your career's coming over, when you start, you never think it's gonna end. Then when that window comes, you fall into depression. Like I was in Thailand. Like I started getting like, kind of suicidal because you start thinking about everything. I started thinking about my brother that passed. Did I live up to expectations? I never prepared, and I think a lot of us do this too. We never prepare for when that window's gonna close because we think it's gonna go forever. So when it finally closed, even though they had started doing the commentating thing, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, man, but I wanted to fight, and you know what I mean? So again, like at the level you are as a good coach, when your fighters are feeling so right. So Pinoy, he had trained a bunch of he's a great guy. And he was like, in my mother camp, they let me stay in the camp. So they would drive me to Max every day.
Yeah.
They would drive me there because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I didn't want to leave the camp because I would still get up and train because I just didn't know what else to do. They would literally drive me to work every day. They bought me my first Max like shirt for work and stuff. They gave it to me. They're like, here. They made the big boss give me like and give me the work visa. And then I finally, because they were like, and so even when I finally moved out of onto my own room, in my own apartment and things by the stadium, they still kept my bunk bed that I had made up in the room.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
In case I wanted to come back. Because occasionally I would just come back for old time's sake, stay there, get up in the morning, go run, eat with them and everything. And what I was doing is I would use my money from Max to just buy the food for all the boys at the camp and everything, eat with them and still train with them and do everything.
That's cool.
And then, they gave me, and the people at Max took good care.
Well, dude, a lot of people, I did it too. When I stopped fighting, I was way too old to fight, but when I stopped fighting, like I was coaching at the time still, but
right.
You whole body, your identity is a fighter.
It's a fighter.
There's Dorian Price, he's a fighter. He's a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah.
There's Beecher, he's a fighter.
Yep.
And then you kind of lose it.
Yeah.
Man, I drank whiskey every day for 2 years.
Damn.
And I stopped one time and I saw this video of me playing bass, and I remember that night I was drunk.
Yeah.
Fucking trying to play some song, sound like shit, right? I was drinking. But then I stopped and I was like, dude, I've drunk, whatever. I drank every day for 2 years. And then I stopped drinking. I mean, not stopped completely, but I stopped, But it's a lot of people. People don't get it. That day's going to come.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want that. Dude, I still want to fight now. I see my guys fight and I'm like,
you know who don't get it?
Let's get it.
Regular people.
Let's go.
I think as fighters, we all understand it.
Yeah.
But regular people, when they see these fighters and they're like, look at these guys that come out of retirement, like, and they fighting like at 48 and 50. Yeah. And it's like, for me, I'm like, I get it, man.
Yeah.
It never goes away. It's like the drug never goes away. But then regular people make fun. Sometimes, like, I really want to, like, crush somebody's skull when I'm like, you guys don't understand what this drug is like. Like, these guys, like, I mean, a lot of guys, they're like me, man. I was going through suicidal, like, thoughts, man. I was like, I even started drinking a little bit, like the...
Yeah, and you don't even drink.
I don't even drink, but I would start doing it. I would, one point, before I moved to the actual apartment, I started hanging out at this trap house. And
what's a trap house?
They sell drugs and all kind of shit in Thailand. And then also by the stadium. Yeah. And then I would go back. That's a whole nother story we don't need to tell. But I would go. No one gets it, man. That like you like you said, your whole identity, and you fall into fucking a deep depression. And there were days where I would still be commentating, and it took me a long time to get out of it. And that's when I say like, commentating kind of saved me. That's why I have so much respect for like the guys like Rob Cox, these guys, because they in a lot of ways saved my life. Even the people at Sitwell Child, when I would see the big boss come to Max, I remember when I needed my work visa, I didn't think there was no way they were gonna let me in because I had extra pages in my passport. The thing looked huge, and I had stamps going from all over. I looked like an international drug smuggler. I'm like, they're not letting me back in this country if I leave. And I remember I called Abigail. She was like, "Don't worry, sweetie, come up to Sitwell Child." So I went up there, stayed overnight. PA was like, don't worry, we're gonna make sure. So he like took a picture of my passport and was like, he goes, gonna have somebody to drive me. Porcenay was so happy that I was getting, because he knew what I went through, living, that's what I'm saying, like not from fighting, but living in the conditions, like living amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
He was so happy. He drove me like 3 hours, don't quote me, from the border to the border of Burma, had me cross over, come back, and then drove me back. And they weren't gonna let me back in, but the way it was set up, you could see where the people were parked. So when I got back, so you go on the dirt road, they drive you around, then you come back on the Burmese side, they exit you through, then you're on the Thai side and you got to get stamped. And then when the way it was set up, you could see where the cars was parked on the Thai side. Because at first they're looking through this, they're like, nah. And then I'm like, what's going on? Then they're like, no. So the lady's not gonna let me. Then the guy who must have been the man in charge looks over and sees Porcenay. He's like, oh, sit Monchai, okay, boom, boom. And then he stamped. He's like, okay, Monchai family, welcome you back to Thailand. I said, thank God.
Good thing Porcenay drove you over there.
Yeah, he was.
Are you the one that gave him one of my shirts?
Yeah, I gave him the shorts. There's a lot of guys. So you know who else has your shorts? Kompelek, look provide.
I saw a picture of that.
Did you see when I was clinching?
I saw a picture.
Kompelek, I think was wearing your shorts.
Yeah,
I gave it to you when I was
the black ones.
Yeah,
dude. But somebody else was at Sit Monchai, and they were like, they have a picture. Porcenay's wearing a Hyena Muay Thai shirt, bro. And I was like, yeah. It was you gave it to him.
Because remember, I came back that time for the camp, and they gave me all the Sit Monchai stuff to give. And then so I went back, and I think I could get Porcenay the shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, the hyena stuff is everywhere.
It's a good thing that Porcenay went with you then.
Yeah, he drove me, but that's the thing. He was so happy, man. That he was like, and every time I used to see him, I would eat these noodles by the stadium. He would come every time he was there. Some of the boys from Sit Monchai, they would come up, give me hugs. They would eat the noodles. They'd be like, okay, P.A., take care. He would buy me. I'm eating my same thing every time, like rice soup. And they would pay. He would pay for the rice soup. We sit down, they would eat, we talk, and all the guys, even the big boss of Sit Monchai, was like, it was really like a whole community went to bat for me. So like for me, Max was a special place in my heart because, like I said, I was real depressed in a real dark time, and had it not been for that commentating, there's no telling what, because what I ended up becoming was like, I don't know if everybody sees the original movie Kickboxer with Van Damme.
You better have watched that, bro.
All right.
Of course.
All right. I went over this. This was the joke that people started saying that to then. I became Winston, the black guy.
Wait, what?
Remember Winston? Remember when
which one?
Winston, he took him to find when Van Damme's brother got paralyzed.
And
so Winston was over there. He was like, he could get you everything. I became that guy. So like they started saying Winston. Like I went over there to be the joke was I went over there to be a TIE fighter and I turned into Winston. Because if you needed to, because if people started coming like, I want to go to this camp. So I started setting people up like, yeah, you want to go there? Okay, I know a guy. I know the camp. So I would go over there and get him set up at this camp or this camp. It got to the point where people started saying like, hey, my boy's coming from wherever, we'll just say Australia or something. Hey, he want to do some coke. I was like this. Yeah, I got a guy. So
I got a guy for that.
It was so bad at one point, man. I got somebody grenades, bro.
Nah, dude, don't say that shit.
I became. It's not illegal. I can't get in trouble here. I became that guy, Winston. And here's the funny thing: I never had to get my hands dirty because I would just say, okay, I would find what you needed from the person, and I wouldn't let anything exchange hands for me. I was like, okay, well. The guy says, you need to be at X place at X time, and somebody gonna meet you over there. I'm done.
You were the middleman.
He was the middleman. It's like, well, you need this. So the big boss or whoever never got their hands, and they were sent. I was like, all right, what are you looking for? Coke? All right, so-and-so says be there at this time. And right there, wait. And so-and-so's gonna pull up, and then you're gonna get what you need. Then this person.
What the fuck?
It's like, what you want? Crazy. Do you want some grenade? I was like, I don't know how you want it. And I did it as a joke just to see, because someone's like, you think he can get grenades? And I was like this. Probably not. And I just remember asking her like this, okay, can do. I said, oh shit. I said, let me see how far this goes.
Oh shit.
I remember saying, I can do that. And they were like, they had a look of shock on their face, and I guess they wanted to ride it out. And they were like, see how far I went. And they were like, all right, well, I want 3 of them. So I went back. I was like, he says, 3. I said, and he's like, can do. Okay.
Holy shit.
And I was like, all right, he can do it. And then it was like, what? I said, yeah, okay. So then I went back to the usual. He said, meet him at X location at this time, whatever. And this person's going to show up looking like this and he's going to have it as X amount. I'm out of it. I became Winston.
That's crazy, dude. Fuck that.
If you wanted weed, whatever you wanted, weed, I started people would literally start coming over there and being like, now, especially for Ty has a sort of reputation for things like underworld sort of thing. So I was getting people, you name, like people would ask me like for camps, I want to come over to this camp. So I would get them set up. I helped get a lot of people like sponsored at different gyms. Like, you know, I said, okay, you can start, I'll get you down there to a gym in the South in Phuket. You do your thing down there, then you open up for you. You go here. You want a clinch camp, you can go here, but you got to pay this amount, you know what I mean? Or they'll take you in. You name it. I started getting people visas. Like, okay, we looking for a visa? How about for a year? Okay, it's X amount of money doing that. Like,
what the fuck? So that's how you lived out there.
During that time when I kind of retired, I started becoming like Winston. I can't go into everything, but yeah, I became Winston during my max time.
We don't want to hear. Well, I want to hear it. I'll hear it later off air. Mm-hmm. But so what are you doing now? I know you just went and trained Matt Brown for his last fight.
Yeah,
that was about, I don't know, a minute. Overhand, bang! Was it a minute long?
Yeah, not even that long.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you and I are, you know, and I always say this before. People give me like a lot of credit for Matt and his elbow clinch stuff, which, you know, okay, I
for sure
that. But at the same time, like Matt's a unique person that he has a makeup of not just me, like you.
I trained him
a lot of his fights
6 or 7
when he was on that run, because I was in Thailand. So on that run, and because I remember I was excited because I was like, what, man, that's my bro, Beecher. You train with him, man.
Yeah.
Like, go over. And I was like, and I see a lot of people would get jealous or something a lot of times, coaches. I'm like, what the fuck? Go with my guy Beecher, man. He's the shit. You know, this is a guy I looked up to for training.
Bro, I had a guy I was training tell me, I told him something about Matt Brown, and then later he told me, you didn't train Matt Brown. Dorian Price trains Matt Brown. And I was like, yeah. Dorian trains him too.
Yeah, we both did.
I did too. We both trained him. Like, I'm gonna lie about it?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie about training somebody. I don't want to train that motherfucker.
Because you can see the style in both of them. That's why you can see our style, both our styles. And I think that's what makes him so good, because he has that high. I'm like, what the fuck's the difference? You still have high level of Thai boxing coaching.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Go learn from another source and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember there was the Mike Swick fight.
What? Bang! That elbow.
Remember the Mike Swick fight?
Yeah.
We were in we
Seattle.
both went there in Seattle, and I ended up sitting in the stands. I was like, you got Beecher there. I'm good, man. Give me the ticket. I'm going, because he ended up bringing another coach with him, so you can only have 3.
It was like Kazeka or something, right?
Something like yeah. And I remember you can only have 3, so I was like, you got the Thai boxing guy. Give me the ticket. I'll go in the stands. I'm like, you got Beecher.
It was
right
quick
there.
anyway.
But you know what I mean? I don't understand why guys like get their egos too much involved with this shit, man. And it's like,
I know.
It's stupid.
It's in everything, man. It's in everything. So you went and trained Matt Brown, and now what are you gonna do now?
Well, I've been down for the working with Master Lloyd Irvin at his gym, working with
where's that
Jewish fighters in Maryland, in PG County, which is real cool because it's close to my family. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I have family in DC. So, you know, being away for so long, it's good to be around my mother and get to see her.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though she's like, after a while, she's like, this boy, go do something, man. You being around me too much. Like, don't you got something to do?
That's good.
And so that's what I'm doing, just working with them, learning the jiu-jitsu, learning really working on the jiu-jitsu there, because I want to, you know, utilize that, having a resource like that and keep competitive, my love for martial arts, I should say. And then doing the judo, because it's helping my clinch, really helping my clinch evolve a little bit, learning that stuff.
For sure.
So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
So you've had a full life of martial arts, and that's what you wanted to do. And I'm glad you wanted to do that because I learned a lot from you. But look, check this out. What's your favorite move? So wait, hold on. At the end of my podcast, and we don't have to end it, but at the end of my podcast, I ask 10 questions to everybody. It's the same questions. They vary a little bit according to your personality, you as a person.
Okay.
But number one is, what's your favorite move? Of all the moves that you show, what's your favorite thing?
Elbows.
All right, come show me.
Let me show you.
All right, hold on. Okay, I'm here with Dorian Price. This is his favorite move. I know what his favorite move is. I know what it's going to be. I don't know what the move is, but I know what it's going to be. But check it out. It's really cool, all right?
All right, this is my favorite move. Everybody know I like the elbow, so here it is. I start with a basic jab. I know he's parrying, then I jab to the outside, grab his wrist, slide it from my elbow into my crash elbow. That's my favorite move right there.
Okay, so look, what he's doing is he's making you parry and move your hand a little bit. So whenever I jab, he's gonna parry. He's got to parry the jab, right? And then he jabs on the outside of it, and look, he grabs your wrist. Come on, go this way. It's on your wrist right here. Look, and then it comes over. Boom. Now, show this. You call it the crash elbow, because this one is
the
really
smack
crazy.
elbow.
So he smacks you, and I felt him hit my hand with it before. It's nothing but bone right here. But he turns his body and it hits your chin. Not on your forehead, on your chin. How do you do that one?
What I do with this one is, man, I should switch sides.
Yeah, for sure.
So what I do, think of the concept of a hook. So I'm twisting on the hook. So I leave my hand up, and all I do is I flare it out a little bit. Not out this way as much as out here. And then turn my body. So keep my hands open, just as if I was throwing the hook.
And where does it hit? Like show where like you would hit it. Like do the move that we were doing.
Okay. So people want to wind up, they throw that big hook a lot. So when they throw a big lead hook, I step in. And you see right there, I'm already turned in my body. So a lot of times you see these guys take these big steps in for the hook. If it's a tighter hook, you got problems. But a lot of times you do find the guys, especially late in the fight, they get tired, get sloppy.
Oh, that thing came right across the chin, right here.
Comes right on the jawline. They never expect it. And I'm using the torque on my hip to really knock it out. So what I do is, just like that. Those are my two favorite moves. I love the elbows.
That's dope. That shit is so cool, dude.
It's so basic.
It's not basic, it's fucking cool. Bro, that move's awesome.
Hey, bro,
I like that move.
So simple.
You say it's simple, but it's not. Look, it is simple, but if you don't know it, it's not simple.
Right.
So like he showed that in the seminar he did for my gym. We had a seminar with Dorian yesterday. And if you guys want to do a seminar with Dorian, you need to hit him up, dude, because it was dope.
I appreciate it.
That was cool moves, dude. There was some that I was like, that's so easy. Why don't I know that shit?
Simple
you know
stuff.
what I mean? And that's how it works, you know? Okay, so that's your favorite move, and I love it. And what is your least favorite move? Like, what is the thing, if you see somebody do, you're like, this fucking asshole?
I don't know, because I think it all has a place, man.
Yeah?
I think if you can make it work, man, I can't really say I have one.
You don't have a least favorite move?
One that I wouldn't do, given the fact that I'm not capable of pulling it off.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of those for me, too. Yeah, shit.
I would say the sandshot cartwheel kick, but I've tried that shit once. So.
Yeah? Bro, when I first moved here, everybody was trying to do that, right? And a lot of the times...
It failed me.
I'll give you... Oh, well, shit. I'll give you a little story, dude. A lot of the times, it works for Senchai. Well, plus Senchai's a fucking ninja. But
yeah.
Look, it's lefty-righty. So his head goes this way.
Yes.
If you're right, and you go this way...
Yeah.
Bro, I put my foot across people's face.
Oh, God.
I just blocked the kick like this and went pop, right across their face. And I'm like, what are you doing? Look, I'll tell you a story. Kevin fought Senchai.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when I was training him for that, I worked this move a lot. But it's lefty-righty, so your leg doesn't have a whole lot of momentum, right?
Okay.
So he did the cartwheel kick, and Kevin kicked him in the face. Watch that. I worked that move. I'm like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Oh, of course.
And
no, it's coming.
I worked that move with him for a bunch, and he was like, whatever. And he did it in the fight. You got to watch it slow though. Like he tries that cartwheel kick once, and when he got kicked, he never did it again.
That's the GOAT.
Yeah, mine's Superman punch. I think
I'll go with that. Yeah,
bro. If you Superman punch me in fucking sparring, I'm gonna beat your ass.
I'll go with that one.
The only one I like is Joe Schilling did that shit. Yeah. He won Glory, so I'll take that.
Man, Joe Schilling hit like a truck though, man.
Bro, that
Joe hits like a truck.
Dude hits hard, dude.
Man, like a Mack truck. Bro, I don't know if it's the length or his bone structure, but that guy hits like
dude tracked people. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so no really least favorite move. That's all right.
I'll go with the Superman.
Yeah,
that annoys me too. Yeah.
That's fucking dicks. Anyways, so in all of this that you're doing, your life, whatever, what would you like to accomplish?
I don't know. I guess more than anything, just kind of be like, maybe people seeing my story and then like go make it have it inspire other people. Like, I don't know. Like, Kevin's a guy I look up to. Like I said, and I see how much his story inspires people. Just seeing what he was doing in America kind of inspired me to want to go to Thailand and do it over there. I was like, this guy's the face of American Muay Thai,
Yeah.
So I would say that. There's a guy working on, said you were working on actually trying to write a screenplay on say, not my full life, but the time in Thailand and a lot more of that Winston stuff.
Man, you should, dude. I'd watch that. I'll watch that too.
A lot more of the Winston. You'll go deep into the Winston stuff.
So look, listen to this, dude. I had a guy tell me I think in my teens or in my 20s, I don't know, a long time ago, he told me this. He said, listen, if somebody wrote a book about your life, would anybody want to read it?
That's what I don't know. I'd like to think someone would.
Dude, your life, what the fuck? We just went over a couple hours of it, and I'm like astonished at this shit. Yes, people would. People would want to read your book. So I tried to live my life like that, but like,
bro, you did, man. I mean, if I had a podcast, I would want to interview you.
Yeah, I've done a lot of crazy shit.
We talk about a lot of stories.
You've done more, dude. All that shit that that's crazy, dude. And I've had times like that as well. But bro, like. That I believe that's how you should live your life. When you get older, like I'm older now, I kind of worry about the future a little bit. But before, bro, I was walking down the street in fucking Russia with nowhere to go, and in fucking negative 20 degrees.
Yeah,
no money, like. But that's how we lived our lives.
We lived it that way,
and it's fucking cool, dude.
I think that's what makes it worse when it comes to an end.
Yeah, dude. I also read this thing on a bunch. They interviewed a bunch of 90-year-olds, and they said, what do you regret? And the most thing they regretted was not trying to do shit. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Like just fucking sitting in the office the whole time because they're worried that if I just leave the country or whatever, I go do something, then bad shit will happen. That was one of the biggest regrets out of most older people.
Well, we've lived that to the fullest.
We've done it, yeah.
We've lived it to the fullest.
Yeah. And man, that shit's crazy. I'm gonna hear some more of that shit too later.
I think the whole time I've done this, the other thing is I maintain like my moral compass, man, and never fuck nobody over. Like
that's a big thing.
I say if anything I'm most proud of, not anything is that I managed to navigate through this game of 27 or 20 years of martial arts, fight and everything. Never fuck nobody over.
That's why you don't. That's why you don't have a gym in Vegas. Yeah, I fucking said it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I try to do that too. Like there's guys, especially Vegas, but everywhere that like will fuck over their buddy for money. Yeah, that's your friend. I will never fuck over my friend. Never.
People will
That's why we're fucking friends.
Yeah. I can't do it myself. But I actually started looking at like I'm grateful for the times I did get fucked over because every time I got fucked over, I got another blessing. I got something even better. It came down a thing.
I wish I could look at it like that.
It might not have come right after because it didn't come to me right after, but I started noticing. I did notice the people that fucked me over, things didn't really pan out for them.
Yeah.
I think karma's real, man.
Oh, I do
The universe
too.
came back, and maybe it didn't come in a way like the motherfucker dies like I would have hoped. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came in a way like maybe some shit happened to somebody they cared about.
Yeah.
Maybe if something that they were really valuing, like money, maybe it went away. Maybe other things started happening. You know what I mean? Maybe they had a career that got fucked up. It came in other ways, but more importantly than that, it came back to me. Like I started realizing, like I was in a situation once with probably some of the most scumbag people I've ever met in my life. And when it didn't pan out at that situation, I ended up landing at a spot where they said, "Well, we'll pay you even more then."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, really? You're free from that situation? Well, come on, we're going to give you 2 times as much."
That opened the door for you.
Open the door, and the people that were around me, I started winning, so I kept a good energy, and I was like, "This is great." And the people that had fucked me over were going through a rut.
Man, it's hard to keep that optimism, that outlook, though, man. When people
I didn't have it, man. I wanted to like Molotov cocktail people, man.
Yeah.
Like smash people's skull. Like it fucked me up. Even until that opportunity came, we're like, "Oh, we'll give you more, whatever." Like I wanted, like, you know how it is when somebody does you wrong.
I'm
you're
still
a
like
dude.
that, dude. I hold fucking grudges for way too long, and the only person that a grudge hurts is yourself.
It does,
because you're still fucking angry about some shit that happened 10 fucking years ago.
It's hard not to.
But they're still dicks. They're still doing that to other people. Yeah, but yeah, that's good.
You know
that's
what I look at?
Answer,
maybe they're gonna
answer.
run into the guy that's gonna finally, that person that's gonna be like, "Yeah, I had enough," and then they do physical harm to him.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they're gonna do it to the wrong guy.
You remember that movie Falling Down?
Oh God, I love that. Michael Douglas.
So back in the old days, I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" And now when I watch it, I'm like, "I get it.
I understand.
I fucking get it. I totally understand.
I understand him now."
Okay, so the next one is, what do you hate about this business? I mean, I ain't got enough time for that, bro.
I know. We got enough time for that. Shit.
Look, we've been in this business a long time. There's a lot of things, but what's the main thing that you hate about this business?
All right, let's narrow it down. We talking about fighting, martial arts?
Yeah, I mean,
as a coach or as a fighter?
Oh, that's a good fucking question. Well, now you're a coach, so let's say as a coach, what do you hate about this business as a coach?
The lack of appreciation that people have for like real coaches.
Fuck yeah.
The lack of appreciation, and what I mean by that is for what you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
You take, and this is not a knock on jiu-jitsu or wrestling, because everybody love martial arts and they're valuable. But if you think about it, as a jiu-jitsu coach, I give you the move. You get a uke, you drilling on that person. I stand back and watch you, and then maybe I jump in every now and then and show you the right position or where you should be, etc. You know, as a wrestling coach, you can do that as well. Given your age, if you're a little younger, you can get out on the mat and go around them, but you still have to be outside looking to see what their position and footwork is. For us, we have to physically put ourselves on the line as Thai coaches. We have to hold the pass, correct, boom, smash here, do this, because we have to do that to make sure it's got the right feel. Are they doing it? Make sure their movement's right, because that's part of our art. And I think people have a real lack of understanding and respect of what we go through on our bodies.
Because dude, my body's fucked up from being kicked for 20 years.
I was telling someone, if you throw a simple jab, even if you have a hook and you get a small person, a female, to throw a hook, there's no way you can brace for a hook and an impact. So all you're doing is damaging your rotator cuff.
Yeah.
There's no way you can properly hold for a hook over the course of the time where it's not going to tear you. Now you put that on an elite level athlete, and that's just going like this all the time.
Yeah.
Both of my shoulders are in absolute agony.
Oh, and the kicks, bro.
The kicks, my elbow, everything hurts on my body, especially in cold weather.
Yeah.
When it gets cold, I'm not sure, you know, like you wake up, you're just in fucking agony.
I know.
I think that would be one of the things that bother me. The other thing would be these money fuckers that get to the positions of power and they're just in there for like little dick energy because they're pussies, and so they like to surround themselves with like alpha males, and what happens is they suck you buses off of what we done. So we have the respect of the fighters because the fighters look at us and like we are the, if you look at it, like we are the alphas of the alpha males because we train the alpha males. These killers, we're the trainers of killers, you know?
Yeah.
We train killers to go kill other killers.
That's right.
And so we are in a real unique position that they look at us, but then you have a lot of time, unfortunately, you have a lot of these money people who come into this, who feed off of us, who end up fucking us over because they got little dick energy and they sitting around and they can't understand how come all these fighters respect these guys. It's because, motherfucker, we were them years ago. Now we have the knowledge to help them make money off of this. You know, they'll never respect you. They'll appreciate you because you have money, but you can't be us. And so it causes them resentment towards guys like us, I think, because they look around and they wonder why. Yeah, they'll tolerate you because you have money. You can buy them things, especially in this generation. Give me. But they're never going to look at you like they look at us.
Yeah.
And so they end up, I think a lot of times what ends up happening, they end up fucking over guys like us because of the respect that we garnished.
Bro, I've been
from those
screwed
guys.
as a coach so many times. Like, I can't count how many times I've been screwed as a coach.
Bro,
and help people win. Help people, and you know, people are going to lose sometimes, but help people win a lot, dude.
You said the best thing I've ever heard, and I was telling you this earlier. You said as a coach, because remember, for people that don't know, like, this is one of the guys we all came up with, Chaz, Kevin, Sean. That's why we all know the same people. We all had one of the best top boxing teams probably, and we could have competed anybody in the world at the time. And Mark was the first guy that started going out and being fighter and coach. People always look at me as like doing my career, coming back to help Matt and everything. He was the first guy. So this guy I looked at up to with doing that. But where was I leading, man?
What I said to you.
The best thing you ever said to me is that as a coach, we create our own heartache and we'll do it over and over and over again. Now, you want to elaborate on it?
We do it, dude. I coach people to help people.
Right.
I enjoy it. Look, when you see somebody win a championship, Kevin with 5 or 6 or whatever, Forrest with the UFC championship, my kids now, that fucking shit makes you happy, dude.
Right.
I helped that dude. I didn't do it.
Right.
I hate these coaches like, without me, you couldn't have done it. You could have.
Yeah.
But I helped you do that. You know what I mean? And I game planned it or whatever. And it makes you feel good, man. And that little piece, I want more of that, you know?
Yeah.
Just like when you're a fighter.
Yeah.
That feeling when you get in the ring, you want to fight. That I want that again.
Yeah.
You know? So it does, but you create your own heartache because you think everyone has the same heart as you. Yeah. So you think, dude, bro, when I trained with Pope Joy, I didn't make that much money, you know? Every cent I made, I just gave it to him. It wasn't that much enough to change his life.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to change my life either.
Right.
So I gave him all of it. Who cares? You know? But people don't have the same heart as you, and then they fuck you around and they give you fucking $1,000 when they were supposed to give you 12,000.
Yeah.
Remember that story?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you go do it again.
And you do it again. You'll say like, oh no, like I mean, been blessed being around Matt a lot. Like, but there were times where I worked because he's just a great fucking guy. I love him to death. But there's not enough of him in the sport. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He is the absolute anomaly like that, I think, because when you said that, I didn't understand till you get in the game, until I got in the situation, you get fucked over and stuff. And you start thinking like, you put all your energy into this kid. Then they go somewhere, you bring them up, they fuck you over like, hey, you ain't do nothing for me. And then boom. And it's like, motherfucker, you didn't even like look like what? I'm trying to put you on a Matt Brown's level or this guy's level or that guy's level. Like, you motherfucker, you ain't even all the way to the finished product yet. Now you're rolling out and you put so much energy into it. And so I look at like, we literally help other people achieve their dreams. A guy wants to fight to be in the UFC. A guy wants to fight to make money. And we're coming from the day and age where we didn't have that ability to make that. You know what I mean? We were on the tail end. We didn't have it. It was done for us. And we literally take all that knowledge and all the years we've done to help another motherfucker achieve his dream. You want to be get to the UFC so you can make money, so you can feed your family? Sure, I'll do this. I'll take my time and help you do this. You want for instance, if you're even to the aspect of these, like I was going back to the money guy, you want a gym with all these, sure, I'll do that for you. Like, but these are your dreams.
And then whenever they do it,
they fuck you over.
Done.
Or the minute you don't do something that they don't want it to do, they fuck you over. It's like we set our dreams and goals aside to help someone else achieve theirs.
Absolutely. But we do that because we want to help them, and it's a good feeling helping somebody.
Yeah.
But
We're selfless.
again, we create our own, and we're selfless. Remember, I told you that
You
too.
told me that, yeah.
But that was our goal.
Do you want to go over what you said about that with selfless and the thing? Because I think that was important. When you told me
in order to be, I have a saying, in order to be a fighter, you have to be selfish. So when you're training, you can't bother me. My girlfriend can't bother me. My fucking mother, nobody can bother me. This is what I'm doing. But when you're a coach, you have to be selfless. If someone asks you something, you have to help them with it. That's your job. My job is to help you with this. So to be, what the fuck was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Anyway, shit blowing up in my gym. Look at my dog. Is that your thing? He tore it up, dude. Whatever that is, my dog just tore it up. Whatever that thing was that you had, it's tore up. Anyways.
Oh, the little blue ball?
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Did he chew the gum up? He's out there blowing bubbles.
My dog just ate. Dorian has a little ball that he squeezes on.
Oh, is that what he came around here? I was wondering, the little slick.
It's tore up all over the fucking. All right, back to where we were saying.
Okay, good.
So you got to be. The saying is, if you want to be a fighter, you have to be selfish. You have to be, and if you want to be a coach, you have to be selfless. And
Right.
that's it. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But you're right, dude. Okay, so what in life do you love? In this life, what do you love, bro?
Man, peace.
Peace, like in what context?
Inner peace. Like being able to be content, I should say, with what I have, the surroundings around me. Like, it's something to be said about being in Thailand and learning, like, that the I guess the Buddhist stuff they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Being content with, like, they have a little bit of stuff and they're just happy and they're content.
That's hard for me to find, bro.
Yeah, because you can't put a price on it. Anything else I could think of, all the things I could say, but really, man, I just want like peace, man. Just honestly, like, to find that, because when you have peace, everything else falls into place.
I'm right there with you on that one, dude. I'm right with you.
Everything else falls into place.
This little motherfucker. Look at this
This
shit.
is awesome. That was a big ball
Beecher
too.
would laugh.
Where did it go?
Hold on.
Oh, he took it.
I know, but I don't want to clean that shit up.
I'm sure it's all kind of shit out there. This little
My
guy.
dog's a little dick. All right, so what in life do you hate?
Scumbags and unethical people, man.
Me too.
who hide behind religion
Oh, that's
to
Man.
mask their scumbag ways. Because I've been in situations where, people, well, I'm a Christian, I'm this. I'm like, man, then why you doing Satan's work?
bro. There's so many people, especially here in America. I've noticed there's so many people that they go to church, and the reason they go to church is so they can feel better about themselves, so they can go back out and do the dirty shit they do all week again.
Yep.
I have one of my fighters, my old fighters, Samuel Mongonia. He's a super Christian. He doesn't cuss. He says, "Gosh darn it!"
Yeah.
He's that guy, right?
Yeah.
He went to Africa and helped a bunch of people for years, dig wells and stuff like that. He's like a real Christian guy,
Yeah.
But most all in all, you got these businessmen that are in suits in fucking in church on Sunday, every Sunday,
Yep.
and during the week they're out doing blow and fucking hookers, and they're married and all this
And
stuff.
living unethical lives, fucking people over.
But their theory is, well, as long as I go to church on Sunday, I'm good. I don't like that either.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Just unethical scumbag people to do like that. I'm like, look, man, just turn yourself over to Satan, man. Just be honest.
Let it go, bro.
Yeah,
Let it
man.
go.
Why you giving? You know what I mean? You already giving them, 6 days of the week, man. Just go ahead and give them the other one.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your favorite saying? What do you say all the time? Like if I went up to Matt Brown, what's this motherfucker say all the time?
Matt would probably say, man, like, yeah, crush his skull, man. Just elbow him in the face.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds about right. All right.
Just keep elbowing till he bleeds out. Yeah, crush his skull. I can see that.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Okay. I like that. I'll
Put it
take that.
exactly. Matt would probably be like, he gonna probably say, like, just keep elbowing him until you make dents in his skull.
Exactly.
Hey, shh, get out of here.
All right, that's good. Okay, next one. So,
This guy. That's awesome.
Every podcast, bro.
Is it?
Okay. All right. So if you didn't do all this stuff that you did now, let's say you never went to that Kali gym, you never did anything, what profession do you think you would have done?
What took me to the gym is I wanted to be a Navy SEAL.
You wanted to be a SEAL?
Yeah, and I remember you remember Black Belt magazine, and in the back of Black Belt magazine they had the Panther videos.
I wanted to. Oh, dude, I got the Rob Kamen videos, the Panther videos.
You remember those, right? They had the Panther videos, and so the instructor had videos, and I was in Virginia Beach, and it was a guy who was so called Mr. C, the guy Sean and I's first instructor, and he had the MP5 rifle. He had on the military fatigues, and it was like Navy SEAL little on his shirt. He had all the stuff he did, and I seen the ads, so I was like, oh shit. This is Virginia. No, it didn't say Virginia. Then remember, if you keep going, they have a listing of the schools. Yeah. And so it's like New Jersey in the back, right? I think that was after the Panther video section. In the back had all the lists, and I was like, Virginia. I was like, oh shit, I put 2. I was like, that's the guy from the videos. I was like, oh man. I used to buy his videos. And then I was like, oh, I'm here. Shit, I'm gonna go down there. Cause this is how dumb I was. I thought he was going to prepare me to be a Navy SEAL in the school. No. I didn't realize you had to join the military. I thought this joke.
I didn't know you're young.
I didn't know. I thought this guy I was going to show up. He was going to prepare me to be a Navy SEAL.
So that's what got you started in the martial art. But you were buying Black Belt magazine already, so you were interested in martial arts.
Growing up, I always loved. We had Kung Fu Theater. I don't know if you remember Kung Fu Theater, right?
Bro, I used to wake up at 5 a.m. when I was a kid to watch it, and my mom would come out and, what are you watching?
Kung Fu Theater.
Kung Fu Theater, bro.
So that's what we all started. We all loved.
That was my favorite.
I think our era, we all grew up with Kung Fu and martial arts in the back of our mind.
Yeah.
Because even our action heroes were all martial art related. Like you look at, it was Jim Kelly, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. What's the guy? I'm forgetting the guy's name.
Black Dynamite.
No, Black Dynamite. No. There was another guy that was popular. Benny the Jet would have Don the Dragon. We had those videos like straight to video movies. Yeah. So we all grew up with our action heroes like in Sylvester Stallone. Like every bad guy knew karate. Yeah. It was just like, a prerequisite. Yeah. It was gonna be the bad guy and they was gonna have a fist fight at the end. They knew karate.
Bro, that's back when I thought fighting was like a kung fu movie. I wish fighting was like that.
I really do. It's not.
But I wish it was. Like all that fancy.
Yeah. But that's when we grew up, when it was like men were really men. Like we were growing up and everybody was fighting karate.
So men weren't women? We don't get it. I don't have 2 fucking hours for that shit.
Oh God, man. But I think it was always in for people from my era, I think martial arts, even though we all did everything else, I think was always in the back of our mind, because in a lot of ways we were kind of surrounded by it. Think about that. All the action movies, you had Kickboxer, Van Damme, then Steven Seagal started coming out. So there was always martial art movies, Chuck Norris movies coming out. So it was always around us. Like they were our like superheroes. Yeah. Like one like the guys they have now. Our superheroes were guys who did martial arts and fought.
Well, man, it creates confidence in you, and that's it. Look, dude. If it was really like the movies, like I was Bruce Lee, nobody could whip my ass. Yeah, I would be confident, right?
Right.
Fuck yeah, I'd be confident. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. So, what profession would you never do? Like, I would never do that. There's no way.
I don't know, it's a good one. Any profession that will require somebody to be a fucking scumbag, because I just can't do that.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, think about what you wouldn't, like, I could never do that. My life would be terrible.
To be honest, sitting in a 9-to-5 office.
Bro, that's the exact one
sitting in a 9-to-5. I'd probably blow my brains out. I would really, be suicidal. In a 9-to-5 office, I couldn't do it.
That's the exact one that I said. Watch my other podcast. You better watch my podcast.
I do watch your podcast. Okay. What the fuck? Come on, bro. All right,
so
your shit.
So like it's like, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. Yeah. Go to work, sit in an office, go home, go to work. Yeah. Like there has to be some kind of excitement in your life,
Yeah.
That's my outlook. Yeah.
9 to 5 is ridiculous. Like, in a way, I feel bad for a lot. Not saying that this, somebody
Some
has to
people
do it.
want that.
You
though,
want to do
dude.
that for security. I get it.
Yeah.
Because there's some days, and we probably know, I look back, I'm like, damn, I should have just been a fucking fireman or a cop. Or
There's a lot of days I think that, dude.
I'm like, at least I would be getting retirement now.
Especially when I look at my fucking bank account.
Oh, bro. Think about it. The time that we spend, you even more, man. You would be getting a pension right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Fireman, police officer, or military.
Sure.
There are days when I sit back there, I'm like, oh, fuck, I should have just went ahead and just.
There's a lot of days I think that too. And then a lot of people come and they tell me, yeah, but you wouldn't have had all these experiences in Brazil and fucking Russia and Thailand and all. You wouldn't have had none of that.
You know what makes me change my mind is when you get those guys like firemen, cops, and then military people like, man, we wish we did what you did.
Dude, so many people tell me that.
Yeah.
But look, dude, if you guys have watched this podcast and you listen to Dorian's story about Thailand, people think they want to do that until they get to that place.
Do that shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Walking down the road in Brazil with nowhere to go. You were in Thailand, and no money. And you're like, what the fuck am I going to do? Yeah. How am I going to get to the airport to get home?
Yeah.
That shit's hard, dude.
There was no fight. Like, to go home wasn't an option. Like, it was a situation of, I have to fight, and I'm not ready to fight mentally. You know how it is. Mentally, you're not prepared. There were fights where I'm going in there like, God damn, man. Like, I just don't want to die. I'm going to go out there and give the best I can. Of course, I'm going out there to win. Yeah. And I'm giving my all, but I'm like, my body hurts. I just fought like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Yeah. I'm fucking sore, man. I've been on this fucking thing. Like, maybe my hand's fucking, I think it's broke or something like that.
Yeah.
But I got
Man, we didn't even go over your arm that was fucked up for a long time in Thailand.
Oh, yeah. Fresh my arm. My hand's broke. I didn't have any.
Man.
But you know how this is the game that people don't understand this. Fighters, like civilians, don't really understand what we go through.
Dude, but like I was saying, all these people tell me, I wish I would have done something like you did, and you went all over the world and you did all this, but they don't understand the hardships that it fucking took to be there and do that,
Or what it takes, because now you're 40 and you got an arthritis in the elbows and shit hurts. Now they understand how we wake up all the time.
Yeah, you got to. What else you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. There was a guy, Colin. Yeah, and he was a wrestling coach at that gym in Vegas.
Okay,
and he was a smart fella.
Yeah,
he was fucking like, and those gym owners hated me for, you know me, I speak the truth.
Absolutely.
He had he got accepted to Harvard Law School.
What the fuck?
And he was like. He told me, yeah, but I want to do kind of like what you did, Beecher. You go around the world and fight and train people. And I'm like, oh, and what are you going to do? You're going to move up in ranks at this fucking gym right in front of the owner. And he's like, what the fuck? He could do. I'm like, no, you can't. Right. You're smart enough to go to Harvard. Go to Harvard. He's a lawyer now.
Yeah.
I'm like, go to Harvard, do that shit. And then you got your degree. You can go do whatever you want and then go be a lawyer and have something to fall back on,
Yeah.
But people don't get how hard it is. You have to really want to do this shit. It's not just all glamour and shit. No. You know how hard it was for Forrest to win the championship? Bro, and all the shit he went through to do that? So it's the same with all of us, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right, there's one more question.
All right, let's go.
Deep one.
All right, here we go.
And when it's all said and done, your life's over. It's already gone, done. How would you like for people to remember you?
As a moral person, a dude that didn't fuck anybody over, that stood on principle, and the people in my circle, and they considered me friends, that I was loyal to them.
That's good. Dude.
And I was always there for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
And not a scumbag. I despise scumbags. Shout out to my lawyer, though, who did fuck that scumbag over.
He told me that story. We're not going to talk about that, but it had to do with coaching and gyms and owners, and I've been there.
And having a lawyer that's a G, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, they better than 100 men with guns, man. Lawyers are the shit
in America. Yeah,
for
sure.
I'm sad I had to go through that thing, but golly, boy, I bet you they are pissed,
dude. That shit's awesome.
The dumbass fighter beat them.
Okay, so you got a website?
No, I don't. It's a good idea. Maybe I should do one of them things.
You got a cost money for that shit.
Maybe not.
You got Instagram?
I do got Instagram.
What is it?
The little ad thing, you can tell technologically not inclined now.
Whatever.
The ad thing with the Coach Dorian Price.
Coach Dorian Price.
Yeah, Coach Dorian Price. I guess they're going to figure out that you got to put the ad in there.
Yeah,
right?
people know.
Right.
And what about Facebook?
Facebook, just Dorian Price.
Dorian Price.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Don't have Twitter. Don't have TikTok. Don't have OnlyFans, but hold off on that because if shit starts getting hard, ain't no telling what might happen.
You know that Eddie Farrell in Tulum, they have an OnlyFans, right?
Eddie and Brooke are killing the game.
But you know what they do though, right?
No.
So OnlyFans is not only naked chicks. That's what it is. That's what it turned out to be. But
it's about to be naked me if I fall on hard times here.
Bro,
People gonna pay me to stop posting.
Me too. Look, dude, they put their fights on there, so it's pay-per-view.
Brilliant.
So they film the fights and they put them on OnlyFans, and you pay $4.95 or I don't know what it is, and you can watch the fucking Tulum fights.
Brilliant.
You see, it doesn't have to be naked fucking shit.
They are doing great down there in Tulum.
Yeah.
They are doing great. They get it, man. They're smart.
Yeah, I think I don't know them. One of my students, she's out there right now.
Yeah.
But they said they didn't want to come back to America.
No, nobody does.
So and I've been out there. I had some guys fight out there, not at Tulum, but in that area in Merida. It's a cool place too.
Yeah,
it's fucking cool.
I do want to give a shout out to Master Lloyd's and Powerhouse Phuket.
Powerhouse Phuket
and Phuket, Thailand.
Man, I never been to anywhere. I only been to Bangkok because I was fighting. But I want to see nicer Thailand.
From what they say, man, and what I've seen, Phuket is becoming the mecca of MMA now.
Yeah.
If
it's legal to do MMA now.
I believe so. Yeah, with the emergence of the one I see, it's starting to get out there and like like I tell people, when you go to Thailand, people are like, oh, well, your waiver, your rules meet and everything like that. I said, when they stamp your passport at customs, you have agreed to whatever comes after. you don't worry about paper, don't worry about rules meeting. When you let them stamp your passport.
I had, what was his name, wrap my hands from Fairtex? Jaquette, I think.
Okay.
But you know how they wrap your hands?
Yeah.
It was this much tape.
Yeah.
Bro, I punched a brick wall hard. And I was like, really? So look, I go up to the guy to get the gloves and he grabs my hands and like starts looking at him.
Yeah.
And that Jaquette dude looked at him like he was going to stab him and took my hands and like put him in the gloves like this.
Yeah.
Don't look at my fucking hand wraps, bitch. Yeah. They know what
when you
rules meeting, bro. Come on.
You went through all that when you let them stamp your passport because you never agreed. Yeah, so whatever happens after that, you agreed upon when you let them stamp your passport at customs when you got off the plane.
That's it. Yeah,
that's how Thailand works.
All right, cool, dude. This is good, man.
It's becoming the mecca though, bro. It's you got to check it out, man. It is. There's so many gyms on that island, and MMA's growing. You're getting all these guys coming over there. Like it is really, really impressive, man.
I'm down to go back there and see something nice too.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Sure. All right, Dorian, we're gonna get you back to training people, and then we're gonna talk about what he didn't want to talk about on here because I want to know.
Okay.
And you guys check out Dorian if you ever can get him for a seminar, you should do it. And if you can ever train with him, some clinch stuff or any stand up stuff, very knowledgeable guy, and I know a lot, and he knows more than me.
Nah, all
right,
that, bro.
Check it out. I would. Anyways, good work.
Always, bro.
Yeah, all right. Let's go.
Bro, thank you, man. That was dope, bro.
Yeah, dude. I just talk. We just talking about you,
bro,
and
you
about
gonna
life.
be like Joe Rogan and this shit.
I hope so.